Chapter 1579. Heart Sword. This was Su Ying-mei's innate ability. This was an invisible heart sword that erupted from a heart. Its target was the enemy's heart, and it could directly kill any living being. When the living beings of the God Realm realized that Su Ying-mei had unleashed her innate ability, they felt sad for Yang Wu. He was definitely going to die. The heart sword was everywhere, and no one could defend against it. Yang Wu didn't expect Su Ying-mei to have such a powerful attack, and his heart was ruthlessly pierced by the sword. The power of the Tao Heart sword penetrated his black tortoise battle armor and entered his heart, wanting to shatter it. At the crucial moment, the blue demoness in his heart erupted and directly burned away the power of the Tao Heart sword. Pooh! Su Ying-mei didn't expect Yang Wu's heart to also have an innate ability, and it even burned away her heart sword, causing her to suffer a backlash. "It's impolite not to reciprocate," Yang Wu said faintly, and the nether ice wing blade flew out, aiming for Su Ying-mei's head. Su Ying-mei had already entered a defensive position. Boundless sword chi circled around her. When the netherworld ice wing blade slashed towards her, she had already sensed it. She quickly dodged, but her shoulder was still cut. If it were not for the existence of the godly armor, her shoulder would definitely have been crippled. "Invisible attack," Su Ying-mei exclaimed. Originally, she thought that her heart sword was already blessed by the heavens, but she didn't expect Yang Wu to also have such an innate ability. At this moment, Yang Wu had already charged over, and he still threw a straight punch towards her. His mind was filled with the idea of a straight punch, and he used the power of his dantian, the power of heaven and earth, and the power of the stars to gather on his fist and explode. Before entering the All Saints Palace, he had also practiced this punch for 10 years. After being inspired by this punch, he was even more convinced that the unstoppable fist energy could destroy everything. Yang Wu's majestic fist energy instantly exploded, and Su Ying-mei also attacked with all her strength, not allowing Yang Wu to get close. Divine skill, 10,000 sword shadows. The sword chi of the 10,000 swords formed sword shadows, which then converged together to form a golden river of light, which pierced towards Yang Wu's punch. The reason why my brother failed was because he was careless and underestimated the living beings of the human realm. But I won't. Su Mei thought to herself and activated another innate ability. The innate ability of his lungs was gold essence baleful chi. Her innate ability erupted from her lungs, and she spat out a mouthful of metal essence baleful chi that contained a terrifying destructive power. This power was mixed in with her sword, and it attacked from behind. When Yang Wu and her sword collided, the gold spirit baleful chi would attack from behind and would definitely corrode Yang Wu. Yang Wu's merciless attack broke through Su Ying-mei's attack, but his momentum was still suppressed. His opponent's combat strength was not inferior to that of a mid-level Divine Realm expert, so she was not that easy to kill. Just as he continued to push forward, the terrifying gold spirit baleful chi rushed towards him, and his fist energy was destroyed on the spot. After his fist was stained with this power, his tough skin and flesh felt a sharp pain, and his flesh was actually corroding. Soon, his purple bone could be seen. Fortunately, this bone was a Divine Realm heavenly thunder bone, which could withstand it. Otherwise, this arm would definitely be crippled. "You've been hit by my gold spirit baleful chi. You're finished, haha." Su Ying-mei laughed wildly. Gold spirit baleful chi was a Divine Realm gold spirit baleful chi, and it was extremely rare. Su Ying-mei had spent a lot of effort to integrate a wisp of gold spirit baleful chi into her body to awaken her innate ability. This gold spirit baleful chi was something that even a Divine Realm expert could not withstand. Their body would definitely corrode upon contact. Yang Wu's body had been tempered by both the Nine Thunders body tempering technique and the void tempering technique, and it was not any weaker than a high-grade divine body. Even so, it was still difficult for him to withstand this gold spirit baleful chi, which showed how terrifying its power was. Yang Wu was able to endure the pain without crying out. His endurance was already very good. As the gold spirit baleful chi continued to seep into his body, before he could get rid of it, the immortal immortality peach tree moved and swallowed the gold spirit baleful chi. This amount of power is too little. Master, you can make more, the immortal immortality peach tree complained. I'll try. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment before he responded. Then he shouted at Su Yingmei, this amount of power is too little. Can you make more? He did not care about his crippled arm, and his other hand attacked Su Yingmei again. Su Yingmei frowned and spat out another wisp of gold spirit baleful chi. The flesh on Yang Wu's other hand rotted away again. Yang Wu did not stop. He continued to shout, you want to take my life with this amount of power? Are you, or am I the naive one? Make more. His arms were only made of purple bones, and he was still punching. His punches were still very ferocious. Su Yingmei's sword chi was broken, and her blood was boiling. She was forced to spit out wisps of gold spirit baleful chi. Unfortunately, she could not hurt Yang Wu anymore. All of it was swallowed by the immortal immortality peach tree. You are too weak. Lose for me. Yang Wu said unhappily. His bony arms attacked at the same time with terrifying power. It was still the simplest punch, but it contained the Jinwu boxing. It was even accompanied by a trace of immortal chi. He punched Su Yingmei fiercely. Boom, boom, boom. After a wave of attacks, Su Yingmei's lungs were about to be punched out. Yang Wu was still shouting, spit out more, spit out more. Her gold spirit baleful chi was all gone. She cursed angrily, I'll spit out your lungs. In the end, her lungs really did spit out. No, they were blasted out by Yang Wu. Yang Wu was too barbaric, too violent. He did not know how to be gentle with women. You kill my sister, my master's favorite disciple. How can I let you go? Yang Wu was filled with killing intent. He roared and killed Su Yingmei on the spot. Another creature from the immortal world had died in battle. The creatures from the immortal world all stood up. Their eyes were filled with a raging fire. Strong, really strong. Dongfang Yi, who had helped the Jiang clan before, murmured. Now, Dongfang Yi could only be ranked in the third row. He was ranked lower than Su Yingmei, at 77th place. The immortal world took up 1/3 of the top 100 places. The rest were occupied by creatures from the mortal world. There were only a few dozen people from the immortal world. The fact that they took up so many places showed how strong the creatures from the immortal world were. Dongfang Yi's fighting spirit was high. He wanted to challenge Yang Wu and see if he could win against Yang Wu. In addition, there were creatures from the Mortal King realm, Heaven Martial Arts realm, and other high-level planes who also wanted to fight with Yang Wu. They were all proud and arrogant. Even if Yang Wu showed great fighting strength, they did not think he was invincible. This time, Yang Wu did not return to the first place. Instead, he shouted faintly, who else is not convinced? Come at me. Yang Wu planned to fight to the end. He would not give up the first place. Let me try. Someone cannot hold back. I also want to see it. Someone else said at the same time. A creature from the spirit of Yin clan from the Shadow Realm. His whole body was covered by a gray power. He was wearing a cloak. His dark green eyes were like the flame of the underworld. It was very frightening. A creature from the Buddha realm. He looked very young. He put his palms together. He looked solemn and had an awe-inspiring Buddhist aura. The Shadow Realm and the Buddha realm were high-level space planes. How could the saints from there be ordinary? These two creatures could actually step into the martial arts hall at the same time. All the creatures were stunned. Weren't the battles in the martial arts hall one-on-one? A voice rang out. The first heaven's chosen son can challenge all the creatures at the same time. Everyone instantly understood. This was Yang Wu's request. It was also Yang Wu's privilege. Not enough. Bring a few more, Yang Wu said in a low voice. Benefactor, you are too arrogant, the immortal Buddha from the Buddha realm said. The creature from the spirit of Yin clan sneered and said, let's talk about it when you can deal with us. Yang Wu glanced at them. He activated the Tao of life. His arms quickly grew new flesh and new skin. His arms were as good as new. One could not tell that he had been injured at all. All of you, come at me together. Don't waste time. Yang Wu did not want to explain too much to them. Everything would be decided by the fight. As he spoke, he had already taken the initiative to attack. The netherworld ice wing blade slashed towards the immortal Buddha from the Buddha realm. The demonic soul chain whipped towards the spirit of Een creature. The demonic soul chain that he pulled out from the God's Court was made with top-grade soul materials. The demonic shadow needle and God-striking whip were destroyed. The demonic soul chain was added with the demonic black fog pearl. When the demonic soul chain was whipped out, it had the power to devour souls. It was especially effective against soul-type creatures. The demonic black fog demon was a creature with terrifying soul energy. The demonic soul chain made from demonic black fog pearl flew out and bound the spirit of Een creature. The spirit of Een creature said in a cold voice, "Tisk, TSK, you want to play with soul energy with me? How naive." The spirit of Een creature moved. His body carried terrifying soul energy. A soul saber slashed towards the demonic soul chain. The surging soul energy was rather domineering. The two soul weapons collided silently. It was time to see which one was more powerful. The spirit of Een creature was indeed the best at soul energy attacks. When the soul saber slashed out, another soul energy turned into an arrow and shot towards Yang Wu's God's Court. It was a two-pronged attack. The most difficult thing to deal with soul energy was that it was difficult to guard against. It could reach the God's Court. Without a defensive helmet, many creatures could easily get into trouble. However, the spirit of Een creature was not the only one who knew how to use a two-pronged attack. Yang Wu also knew how to use a two-pronged attack. The moment the demonic soul chain was whipped out, a bead also flew out with it. This bead was hidden too well. Even when the spirit of Een creature discovered it, it was already too late. He thought that this bead was a soul-suppressing bead. Who knew that it was a demonic black thunder bead? When its power was completely released, the spirit of Een creature was so scared that he peed his pants. This was a divine-level thunder bead. It was the most young object that the spirit of Een creature was most afraid of. It was too late for the spirit of Een creature to take out a divine object to defend himself. Boom! Boom! The spirit of Een creature was drowned by the lightning power of the demonic black thunder bead. On the other side, the immortal Buddha from the Buddha realm was not easy to deal with. Not only did he escape the attack of the netherworld ice wing blade, but he also launched an incomparably fierce attack on Yang Wu. He did not look like a benevolent monk at all. Chapter 1580. The world of Buddhism was one of the top 10 worlds in the human realm. It was ranked even higher than the profound dream world. The immortal Buddha who attacked Yang Wu was ranked second among the experts in the world of Buddhism. He was ranked 58th and was almost ranked third. Moreover, the world of Buddhism was the origin of Buddhism. The Buddhist scriptures in Tian, Li, and Shaolin Temple in the Transcendental world were all branches of the world of Buddhism. It could be said that the world of Buddhism retained the most profound Buddhist doctrine. This immortal Buddha transformed into an ancient Buddha and attacked Yang Wu with a Buddhist mudra. The strange Buddhist mudra looked like a palm, but it was not a palm. It looked like a fist, but it was not a fist. It seemed like a casual attack, but it enveloped Yang Wu, wanting to kill him on the spot. The profound Buddhist doctrine, powerful Buddhist techniques, and the Buddhist light that filled the sky could save any living being. After Yang Wu killed the spirits of Een with a trick, his attack on the immortal Buddha slowed down. He was forced to retreat. The nether ice wing blades slashed back and forth to disturb the immortal Buddha. The immortal Buddha was protected by the Buddhist bell, so the nether ice wing blades could not hurt him. Yang Wu was struck by this Buddhist seal, and his body was violently knocked away. His black tortoise could not block the immortal Buddha's mudra. It was not that the black tortoise armor was not strong enough, but the immortal Buddha's mudra contained the power of 4 ounces to lift 1,000 pounds. It just happened to counter his Tao deflection. Amipa, benefactor, your murderous aura is too strong. Why don't you put down your knife and follow me to cultivate Buddhism? You can save others and yourself. The immortal Buddha attacked while chanting, trying to persuade Yang Wu. The chanting contained Buddhism, so it was easy for people to believe in Buddha's words. They would unknowingly follow the Buddha. Yang Wu's willpower was as strong as the sea. He was so firm that the chanting could not do anything to him. He spat out a mouthful of essence chi, and a Buddha's voice sounded, boom. He only knew one sound, but it was enough to release a powerful sound wave attack. This move was just a distraction. He instantly split into 9 clones and attacked the immortal Buddha at the same time. Facing such a powerful immortal Buddha, Yang Wu had to give it his all. 9 Yang Wu, with different moves, attacked the immortal Buddha crazily. The immortal Buddha also split into 9, each holding a different Buddhist weapon. He chanted, and Buddhist light filled the sky. Yang Wu, Yang, Yang, if you want to redeem me, why don't I redeem you first? In an instant, endless Buddhist light, like the sun, it pierced through the illusion of hell and dispelled the influence of the Tao of Death. But Yang Wu's Tao of Death wasn't as simple as it seemed. His saber Tao had reached the initial success stage. He used the Demon Slayer move. It had a domineering aura. It broke through the layers of Buddhist light and landed on the immortal Buddha. The immortal Buddha didn't dodge. His countless arms struck out wildly. Rumble, rumble. The terrifying attacks came in waves. The martial arts hall was completely shrouded in their power. Everyone could vaguely see an ancient Buddha clashing with a sickle full of death energy. After a series of clashes, the two separated. An imperial jade armor appeared on Yang Wu's body with a few Buddhist seals engraved on it. On the other hand, the bell of the immortal Buddha was shattered. There was a terrible wound on his chest that almost split him in half. The Tao of Death seeped into his body and began to rob him of his vitality. Benefactor's combat power is amazing. Your Tao skills are profound, but it's a pity that your evil aura is too strong. Please take my last move. The immortal Buddha ignored the injury on his body and said faintly. He sat cross-legged in the air and formed a seal with his palms. One of his palms slowly pushed towards Yang Wu. Buddha's palm. This was the most powerful palm technique in the world of Buddhism, and it was also a divine palm that any monk could cultivate. Unfortunately, without any comprehension ability and opportunity, it was impossible to comprehend the true essence of this divine palm. Only those monks who were recognized by the Gautama Buddha had the opportunity to comprehend the profoundness of this palm. When the palm fell, everything was in the palm. No one could escape. Yang Wu felt the immortal Buddha's power and mental energy all gathered in this palm. The power of the stars fell from the sky, forming a terrifying force to suppress him. Yang Wu took a deep breath and activated the art of star prayer. Strands of majestic power of the stars gathered at the same time. His body shone brightly, like an immortal descending to the mortal world. His aura was terrifying. He took a simple horse stance and raised his hand to throw out a straight punch. This was the same straight punch he used to deal with Suing Mei. He learned it from the All Saints Palace and combined it with his many years of practice. One punch could destroy everything. Even if Buddha is here, he won't be able to suppress me. Yang Wu shouted. His fist rushed out like a dragon. Boom! The fist and palm collided. The power of the fist and palm exploded. Both figures were sent flying. The immortal Buddha was punched again. His chest was pierced, and one could vaguely see his rotting organs. Yang Wu's chest was also hit by a palm. His bones caved in, and blood spurted out from his mouth. This was a battle where both sides were injured. In the next moment, the immortal Buddha disappeared from the martial arts palace and returned to his original position. He was not dead, but he had lost. Yang Wu was still in the martial arts palace. He used the Tao of life to quickly recover from his injuries. But before he could fully recover, someone shouted, "I'll fight you. I'll also join in the fun. Let's see how strong the Chosen One is." Another creature shouted, "I'll kill you while you're sick." Just like that, a dozen creatures chose this time to attack. Among them were the 7th prince of the profound dream world, Xianqianmu, and by Jianfeng of the broken star world. Xianqianmu was stronger than Xianhou. He was ranked higher than him. He had a very high reputation in the profound dream world. Bai Dianfeng was not the strongest fighter in the Broken Star world. He might be in the top 100, but that meant he was very strong. He did not dare to fight Yang Wu one-on-one, but that did not mean he did not dare to team up with others to kill Yang Wu. If Yang Wu did not die, it would affect him. It might even become a heart demon, preventing him from breaking through to a higher level. Xian Shimu and Bai Jianfeng had both entered the Jade Moon realm. There were a few others as well. With a dozen powerful creatures working together, how could Yang Wu survive? They had also seen the battle between Yang Wu and the immortal Buddha, so they decided to challenge him. The Chosen One could also be injured and killed. If they took him down, the Chosen One would choose someone else. It might be one of them. Haha, you came at the right time. Yang Wu looked at the dozen or so creatures and laughed wildly. Just now, Yang Wu wanted to challenge all of them. Now, he finally got what he wanted. You are not strong enough to be the Chosen One. Admit defeat and avoid physical pain. Xian Qinmu, who was full of heroic spirit, said faintly. Bai Dianfeng also said, this position is not for someone from a low-level world like you. Get lost. A Taoist from the Tao world said, this position is most suitable for someone from the Tao world. We are with the heavenly Tao. The Tao world was different from the Buddha world. They flattered the Tao of the heavenly Tao and were willing to become the emissaries of the heavenly Tao. They were willing to enforce justice on behalf of the heavenly Tao. They were the rulers of all living things, and their strength was indeed very powerful. The living beings who came up were experts ranked very close to each other in the world. There were also some experts from middle-level worlds. Low-level worlds, like the transcendental world, did not have any living beings participating. They did not even have the qualifications to enter the top 100. This also meant that after this battle, even if the transcendental world could not become a high-level world, it would become a middle-level world and receive more gifts from heaven and earth. Why talk nonsense with him? Kill him. Another living being roared and took the lead to attack. This was a living being from the Bone clan of a foreign race. He immediately struck out with a bone weapon, which was the bone sickle he had used to cross the suspension bridge. With his power, the terrifying bone sickle slashed furiously at Yang Wu. At the same time, another living being from the Demon Clan also attacked Yang Wu. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen powerful creatures activated their divine weapons and attacked Yang Wu. Every living being was not weak. Those who could squeeze into the top 100 were all super experts, and the gap between them was not too big. This also meant that more than 10 living beings who were almost as powerful as the immortal Buddhas were working together to deal with Yang Wu. One immortal Buddha was enough to seriously injure Yang Wu. Could it be that more than 10 immortal Buddhas could not kill Yang Wu? In fact, they really could not kill Yang Wu. The power of Yang Wu's immortal root erupted. He held the black pot in one hand to resist these attacks, while his other hand held the death sickle and slashed out frantically. Slay demons. Slay demons. Destroy the world. The World Destroyer Frenzy Blade was a godly skill that Yang Wu had accidentally obtained. During the 10 years that he had spent with Taoist Zhu, he had mastered every move thoroughly. The power that he could unleash was even more powerful. Among them, these moves also contained the World Destroyer Saber Dao, which was also a saber skill that he had comprehended. The World Destroyer Frenzy Blade was very powerful, especially after immortal energy was injected into it. It was not something that any living being could withstand. Rumble, rumble. Wave after wave of power exploded endlessly. Many powers were incessant. The death sickle continuously collided with the divine weapons. In the end, it was no match for the Buddhist Jade, Rui, and Shattered. Before the death side shattered, it still managed to knock away a few divine weapons and behead a few powerful creatures. After all, the death sickle was just a mediocre divine weapon. It had not been easy to accompany Yang Wu until today. Now that Yang Wu had lost his weapon, the other living beings attacked with all their might. As long as they could break through Yang Wu's black pot defense, Yang Wu would die without a doubt. Even if this is a true divine weapon, I will destroy it. The living being from the Bone Clan screamed and took out another terrifying item. True God Bone. Chapter 1581. The bone race was a mutated race. Their appearance was all skin and bones. Even the powerful bone race cultivators had rows of bones on their bodies. They were very ferocious and terrifying. They loved to deal with all kinds of bones. This time, the bone race not only brought a top-level god bone scythe, but also a true god bone. This true god bone was actually very small. It was just a finger bone, but at the same time, it was very big. As long as it was injected with power, it could become a sky-high finger bone. This was a true god-level bone. It could be big or small. It was not something ordinary people could get. The bone race had paid a huge price to obtain this finger bone. When the finger bone pierced towards the black pot, the black pot's defensive power was broken. The black pot was a true god-level defensive shield, but Yang Wu's power was not enough to explode its strongest side. The true god bone contained a trace of true god power, so it was not difficult to break the black pot's defensive power. The black pot was hit. The true god bone's powerful power sent the black pot flying. Yang Wu also spat blood and flew out. Even if the true god bone did not hit him, it was still uncomfortable. The true god's power was not something he could withstand right now. After the bone race creature's attack succeeded, the other creatures attacked crazily. Xian Shimu held his god weapon and used his ultimate move. Waves of dark blue light poured down like silver, completely drowning Yang Wu. The Milky Way fell from the ninth heaven. This Xian Shimu was indeed a guy stronger than Xian Ho. He was not inferior to the immortal Buddha who fought Yang Wu before. His fighting power was infinitely close to that of a high-level god-level creature. Just this move alone stunned all of the spectators. Xian Shimu was qualified to sit in the third row. Bai Jianfeng was even more merciless. He used a wheel weapon. Waves of tooth power crazily crushed Yang Wu. He wanted to crush Yang Wu. This was a god weapon above the middle level. Even a god-level expert would have to retreat, let alone Yang Wu. However, even without the black pot, Yang Wu's physical body was still a very powerful divine weapon. After being tempered by the divine thunder and void energy, his flesh and bones were already incomparably tough. Moreover, he also had a set of Emperor Jade battle armor. It was easy for him to block these attacks. In addition, they also underestimated Yang Wu. Yang Wu did not have the Death Scythe, the Black Pot, or the Big Dipper Sword. Star-swallowing sword Dao. While Yang Wu was withstanding wave after wave of terrifying attacks, the Big Dipper Sword in his hand erupted with boundless sword energy. One sword strike shattered the stars, and the other sword strike split the galaxy. It was filled with terrifying power, and it continuously intertwined with the attacks of these creatures. Unfortunately, Yang Wu was alone. It would not be easy for him to take them down with his own strength. These creatures also had their own innate talents. Yang Wu's back suffered a heavy blow. His shoulder was cracked, and his abdomen was cut open. If his body was just a bit weaker, these attacks would have taken his life. Yang Wu activated the power of his immortal foundation. The Big Dipper Sword's full power erupted like a black tortoise devouring the stars. Bai Jianfeng was devoured by the black tortoise. His body was cut into pieces, completely unable to stop Yang Wu's attack. They had god armors, but their bodies were not as strong as Yang Wu's. In addition, Yang Wu opened his soul eye and slashed out with a nether ice wing blade. All kinds of innate talents attacked these creatures. This battle was too fierce. Yang Wu was covered in blood from head to toe. Terrifying scars could be seen all over his body. However, that boundless fighting spirit was still supporting him in the fight. The dozen or so living beings who had besieged him were reduced one by one until only 3 were left. One was the living being from the Bone Clan, one was Xian Shimu, and the last one was the living being from the Dao world. These 3 living beings did not have it easy. One of the Bone Clan's arms was gone, and there were many sword scars on its body. Xian Shimu had the best defense, but his abdomen had also been pierced by a sword, and blood kept flowing out. The living beings of the Dao world were the most relaxed. Even if there was a terrifying wound on their backs, they still did not take it seriously. Compared to the overall situation, Yang Wu looked like he was bound to lose. At this point, I also admire you as an opponent. Surrender yourself. I don't want to kill you, the Tao World's Taoist said. You don't want to kill him, but that doesn't mean I won't. I want his divine bones, the creature from the Bone Clan said. I'm the son of heaven, Qianqimu said faintly. Ha ha, you really don't take me seriously. Yang Wu laughed wildly. He was covered in wounds and looked so sinister when he laughed. Was Yang Wu at his wit's end? No. Even if his body was broken, he still had enough trump cards to continue fighting. The creature from the Bone Clan's bone scythe slashed down angrily once again. A terrifying bone world enveloped Yang Wu. Qianqimu unleashed his innate talent attack. A river rushed out of his kidney. It was the Yellow Spring River, which was an extremely terrifying innate talent. Anyone who touched the Yellow Spring water would die. It was stronger than Su Yingmei's gold essence, baneful qi. Who would have thought that Qianqimu would have such a powerful innate talent? The Taoist held a Tao sword and became one with heaven and earth. With a sword stab, the sun and moon shattered. In this state, how could Yang Wu counterattack? The creatures outside were all watching nervously. They wanted to see if Yang Wu still had any divine weapons or trump cards to turn the situation around. Big brother, kill them. Sun Do shouted. My lord, you have to win. Lu Ji also couldn't help but shout. Xinyuan Shu, Xinyuan Hou, Jiangge, and the others also hoped that Yang Wu could persevere. As long as Yang Wu became the son of heaven, the transcendent realm would definitely advance. Those creatures from the immortal realm didn't want Yang Wu to live. It was the same for the creatures from other realms. Yang Wu was too powerful. Being besieged by so many people, he could still kill so many of them and persevere until now. He indeed had the qualifications to become the son of heaven. However, this was still not enough. In their eyes, the son of heaven could only be them. Facing the attacks of these three creatures, a black and white lotus appeared on Yang Wu's body. Life qi, flesh qi, death qi, others die. This was his Tao of life and death, fused with the Tao of Tai Chi. It contained his profound understanding of the strongest Tao. When the attacks of the three creatures fell, the black and white lotus dissipated most of the attacks. There was still a terrifying black and white energy that swept towards them. They felt the threat of death and felt their life force rapidly draining away. They couldn't stop it at all. This is impossible. Why is my life force shrinking? It must be an illusion. Qianqimu frantically retreated and shouted. His yellow spring water didn't touch Yang Wu. It was dissipated by the black and white lotus. At the same time, it was entangled by the black and white energy, causing his life force to shrink. The Taoist from the Tao race was also shocked. His sword couldn't break through the black and white lotus. Instead, the black and white energy flowed up his arm and up his arm. His life force was quickly draining away, causing him to look much older. His combat power was directly affected. The bone race creature was special and was the least affected. His bone scythe slashed at Yang Wu, wanting to cut Yang Wu in half and not give him a chance to live. Metamagnetic Sword Finger. Metamagnetic Sword Finger was the sharpest of all the attacks. As his strength increased, even God-level experts couldn't withstand the Sword Finger. It directly slashed at the mark on the bone race creature's forehead. That was the most dangerous part of his body. The bone race creature's bone scythe slashed at Yang Wu, but Yang Wu's metamagnetic sword finger also slashed at the mark on the bone race creature's forehead. It was a matter of who finished off who first. Pooh! Pung! Yang Wu's Emperor Jade battle armor was shattered, and more than half of his body was chopped off. Fortunately, the Heavenly Thunderbone had directly blocked the bone scythe. Otherwise, this saber move would have killed him directly. The bone race creature thought that he could kill Yang Wu first. Who knew that Yang Wu's physical body was so strong that he could block his saber move? However, he couldn't block Yang Wu's metamagnetic sword finger. His mark shattered, and he died on the spot. Qianqimu couldn't help but scold. Lunatic, I'm not playing with you anymore. A moment later, he admitted defeat and left the battlefield. The other Tao World Taoist also stopped pestering him. He looked at Yang Wu in awe and chose to leave the battlefield as well. Yang Wu won this fierce battle with a half-dead body. Everyone was shocked by what they saw. They had seen many tragic battles, but it was rare to see Yang Wu fight to this extent. Xinyuan Wu was so distressed that tears flowed out. Stop fighting, stop fighting. For so many years, her appreciation for Yang Wu had turned into love. She had never shown it, but at this moment, she couldn't hide it anymore. Many female creatures also had a good impression of Yang Wu. Such a powerful immortal youth was worthy of their hearts. Even the girls of the divine realm secretly admired him. Sun Do, Lu Ji, and Yang Zixin were all distressed and wished they could block a few attacks for Yang Wu. However, this was a battle between the heaven's chosen children. No one could help him, not even Sun Do, who was ranked 6th. Whether he could become the heaven's chosen child depended on Yang Wu himself. Xie Tian didn't know why his heart was so distressed. He covered his chest and gritted his teeth. He's not my father. He's not my father. Why would I feel distressed? I don't feel distressed. I don't feel distressed. Xie Tian was bleeding. He couldn't get rid of this uncomfortable feeling. Yang Wu hadn't come out of the martial arts hall. He had time to rest, but he didn't do so. He activated the Tao of life. The injuries on his body were quickly healing, and the energy he had lost was also replenishing. However, it was too difficult to recover to his peak state in a short period of time. It was quite amazing to have 20 to 30% of his combat strength. A creature said, "I challenge you." Me too. Let's see if you're qualified to be the heaven's chosen child. At this point, no one can sympathize with anyone. I also want to fight. Another dozen creatures issued challenges at the same time. Yang Wu actually agreed to fight with them again. The creatures couldn't help but curse. He's a lunatic. Indeed, if he wasn't a lunatic, why would he continue to fight at this point? Come on, force me to my limits. Chapter 1582. What was Yang Wu's limit? Even he himself wasn't sure. He had fused many kinds of mysterious essence qi, and the supreme 9 mysteries formula had been continuously upgraded. The speed at which he absorbed heaven and earth mysterious qi had skyrocketed, and he could increase his cultivation level at any time. With the help of the star prayer art, all his acupuncture points were filled with energy, and his explosive power was incomparably strong. After this battle, even though he had exhausted a lot of energy, his fighting spirit was still high. When more than 10 creatures entered the arena at the same time, they did not get close to Yang Wu. Instead, they took out their divine weapons and used their innate skills to kill Yang Wu. It was as if they wanted to kill Yang Wu on the spot. Yang Wu had already retrieved the Black Walk, and the power of the immortal foundation was no longer suppressed. The injuries on his body were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his power was also increasing. The Black Walk's rebound power was also increasing rapidly. As long as it had the power of immortal energy, it could collide with any combat weapon and send them flying and shatter them. These creatures didn't expect Yang Wu's battle power to recover so quickly. 2 or 3 of them were caught off guard by the Black Walk's rebound power, and the other creatures didn't have it easy either. They quickly retreated far away, afraid of being crushed. Among them, a piece of bee skin flew out and wrapped around the Black Walk. There was also a divine map that tried to seal Yang Wu. Boundless divine power turned into millions of arrows and crazily rained down. There was also the power of the true dragon and white tiger that shrouded Yang Wu together. Yang Wu's black and white lotus appeared again, and the devil soul chain was also pulled out. The nether ice wing blade appeared again, and the barbarian god arm-wielded the Big Dipper sword's power became even more terrifying. He used all his trump cards at once. These creatures had already observed Yang Wu's fighting style, so how could they be fooled again? Many of them had countermeasures to reduce the chances of being injured by Yang Wu. Only Yang Wu was repeatedly beaten until he coughed up blood, and his body was on the verge of collapse. The immortal energy could help him come back from the dead, and it could help him fight those above his level, but it was also about to be used up. Hurry up and kill him. He can't hold on anymore. Someone screamed. Not bad. He's at the end of the line. Take him down quickly. Hurry up and surrender. Then you can still live. These creatures were already looking down on Yang Wu in a victorious manner. As long as they put in a little more effort, they would be able to kill Yang Wu on the spot. But at this time, Yang Wu revealed a trace of viciousness as he said, "You guys are still a bit lacking if you want to kill me. Tong! Tong will send you all on your way." He drew out the last bit of energy from his immortal root and poured it all into the heavenly lightning bone. The heavenly lightning bone began to explode. Not only that, but the black demon thunder pearl was also exploding. The dreadful electric forks shrouded every corner of the martial arts hall, and the electric forks were crazily attacking the others. Every single strand of such majestic lightning energy was the power of divine lightning, frightening all the living beings present. Not only that, but Lan Xiaoji also took the opportunity to rush out and merged with the electric forks, forming a terrifying domain of thunder and fire. The combination of these two talents was a killer move that Yang Wu and Zhu Dao has created in 10 years. He renamed it the Electric Forks Fire Domain. This was the upgraded version of the Electric Forks magnetic field. The most important thing in this Electric Forks Fire Domain was the Black Demon Thunder Pearl. It could attract the Black Demon Divine Lightning. Boom! Boom! This was the power of the Black Demon Thunder Pearl. Not only could it repel lightning, but it could also attract divine lightning. This was the power that Yang Wu found out from it. When the Black Demon Thunder Pearl was released, waves of divine lightning suddenly fell in this space, scaring all the living beings. The divine lightning's destructive power was very brutal, and it was also infused with immortal chi. How could they block it? Some of the creatures that didn't surrender in time were blasted to smithereens on the spot. Those with divine armor and divine shields couldn't withstand the electric forks and the burning of the divine fire. This was a land of lightning and fire. Yang Wu was in the middle of the thunder and fire, using the black pot to protect himself. It was the best line of defense. The black and white lotus flower floated in midair, controlling the Big Dipper sword to kill those living beings. Most of these living beings surrendered and were pushed out of the martial arts hall. They still had the power of thunder and fire on their bodies, and they looked very miserable. Only a few of them continued to resist with their divine shields and divine weapons. They wanted to rush in front of Yang Wu and kill Yang Wu. The divine lightning would also stop. Unfortunately, they didn't have such a chance. The black demon divine lightning and the immortal chi fused together. Even high-level immortal realm living beings couldn't block the destructive power, let alone them. Damn it. My divine shield is about to explode. I can't hold on any longer. I surrender. A foreign race living being with a divine shield shouted. A human living being with a divine robe covering his body was also blasted until he vomited blood. It was too difficult to get close to Yang Wu. Even with his innate power, he couldn't break through the divine lightning's bombardment. If he was too late to surrender, he would be killed by the electric forks and divine flames. The other living beings didn't dare to stay any longer. It wasn't worth it to lose their lives for the position of heaven's chosen one. Just like this, the living beings either died or surrendered. The battle came to an end. Yang Wu had used up all his energy. He sat cross-legged in the martial arts hall, covered in blood. His body was in tatters, and his flame of life seemed to be extinguished at any time. Yang Wu, come out and rest. Xianyuan Hou shouted. My lord, where there's life, there's hope. Don't force yourself. Lu Ji also shouted. Patriarch, I haven't grown up yet. You still have to raise me. Don't abandon me. Yang Zixing cried. No matter how disobedient Yang Zixing was, he still treated Yang Wu as his closest kin. There would always be some inexplicable fragments in his mind, but he couldn't remember when it happened. Sun Do held his broken staff, and his body was surging with golden flames. He couldn't wait to rush up and fight for Yang Wu. Jianggu, Jin Xiu, and the others all revealed incomparable admiration for Yang Wu. Such a strong willpower wasn't something they could compare with. As for Kuan Mingzi, he just sneered and thought to himself, it's best if you die. The transcendent realm will be my world. Kuan Mingzi didn't make it into the top 100, but he made it into the top 1,000. He kept a low profile here, and no one noticed him. Xie Tian also felt uncomfortable. He had already closed his eyes, not wanting to look at Yang Wu's appearance. However, he couldn't help but open his eyes sometimes, and his heart would ache. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get rid of this thought. Yang Wu still hadn't left the martial arts hall. Even if he wanted to leave now, the All Saints Hall wouldn't allow him to. He was already at the final juncture of becoming the Heaven's Chosen, and he had to fight to the end. This time, I'm going to play big. Yang Wu bitterly smiled in his heart. At this moment, many creatures wanted to issue a challenge, but they hesitated and didn't do so. These creatures were all ranked very high, and they came from the higher realms. Because of this, Yang Wu's combat strength was worthy of their respect. They disdained to take advantage of others, and they also thought that Yang Wu was stronger than them. In their hearts, they had already acknowledged Yang Wu's existence. This freak, I admit defeat. Dongfang Yi, who had always wanted a challenge, cursed in his heart. In the end, he still gave up. He was an outstanding martial saint from the Heaven martial arts realm. He was ranked in the top 10, just below Ji Ling, Sun Do, and the others. He seriously said, "He is very strong. I'm not his opponent." This creature from the Heaven martial arts realm was very strong, and he could be compared with the young creatures from the God realm. Even he was willing to admit defeat. So what reason did the others have to challenge him? It seems that it's our turn to play. The girl in pink in the second row blinked her big eyes and said. The girl called Mo said, "He's so miserable. How can we bear to see him like this?" After a pause, she said, "But I still think that we should fight for the heavenly destined son. As long as he surrenders, it'll be fine. I can't bear to hurt him. Mo is really kind. You're my role model." The girl in pink looked at Mo with admiration. The two of them were singing and shouting. No one knew whether they were doing it intentionally or not. Just as they were about to ask for a fight, the young man called Ji Ling slowly stood up and shouted at Yang Wu, "I'll give you time to recover. I, Ji Ling, will fight with you for the heavenly destined son." Ji Ling's words were final. Ji Ling of the God realm. These 4 words had a great deterrent effect, and he was in second place. It was enough to show how important his words were. In other words, if anyone wanted to challenge Yang Wu, they had to get his permission. His battle with Yang Wu would be the ultimate battle. "I want to fight with you." Dongfang Yi, who hadn't challenged Yang Wu, stared at Ji Ling and said. Everyone looked at Dongfang Yi. No one had thought that after Ji Ling had spoken, someone would still dare to challenge him. "You alone aren't enough. Who else?" Ji Ling didn't want to lose face. He didn't want to lose face for the God realm. Yang Wu had won so many battles on his own. Ji Ling could also win many battles on his own to prove his strength. "Add me." Sun Do stood up and said. This time, he didn't challenge Ji Ling alone. It wasn't that he was afraid of Ji Ling, but that he also wanted to fight with others. Ji Ling was definitely not old. Maybe he was the same age as them, or even younger. In Sun Do's eyes, he was really a little boy. The martial saint of the heavenly martial realm said, "Count me in." That martial saint was called Xiao Wu. He was the strongest martial saint of the heavenly martial realm. A woman from a human king world also stepped forward to challenge Ji Ling. Soon, more than 10 powerful beings also challenged Ji Ling of the God realm. Ji Ling laughed wildly. "Ha, if he can do it, Ji Ling, can do it too. I'll show you what it means to be a god. I'll make you all kneel before me." In the next moment, he and the others entered the martial arts hall to fight. Chapter 1583. How strong was Ji Ling? Soon, everyone saw it. Ji Ling was really strong, even stronger than Yang Wu's battle chi. He was surrounded by divine chi, as if a god was helping him from behind. He blocked the attacks of all the powerful creatures with ease. "Use your strongest weapons. Use your strongest power to attack me." Ji Ling roared with incomparable arrogance. "You're just pretending. I'll kill you." Sun Do shouted. His body transformed into an ape, and golden flames surrounded him. 2 beams of golden fire shot out of his eyes. He smashed his broken staff down furiously, as if he wanted to destroy heaven and earth. Dongfang Yi's greatest strength lay in his spiritual energy. His innate skill was called spiritual will kill. A single strand of spiritual energy was enough to annihilate another's spiritual energy. When he used this soul-killing technique, he wanted to insta-kill Ji Ling Xiao Wu, who came from the realm of heaven. Martial was most powerful in his physical body. He had cultivated an ancient technique, and his physical body had reached a very powerful martial body. It was called the tyrant martial body. He could use his physical strength to kill god-level creatures. His physical body was no weaker than Yang Wu's. He waved his fists, and they looked like two stars swaying in the sky as he smashed them towards Ji Ling. The woman from the realm of human kings was incomparably fast. She raised a storm and slashed out with the way of the wind sword. Countless sharp sword chi were unstoppable. The other creatures all used their divine weapons to attack Ji Ling. They didn't hold back at all. How many moves do you think young Master Ji will need to defeat them? The girl in pink asked Mo. The girl in black replied, "It's hard to say. These guys aren't weak. They're just a little weaker than us. If they join forces, they can at least force young Master Ji into a difficult situation. 10 moves. I bet young Master Ji will win in 10 moves." A reserved young man next to her replied. This young man was the 5th young man from the realm of gods. He was with them. Could Ji Ling defeat these creatures in 10 moves? If that was the case, then his battle prowess was much stronger than Yang Wu's. The spirit deity behind Ji Ling struck out, knocking down all the divine weapons. His true body merged with the spirit deity, and he laughed. "I am the divine son, and all of you are mere mortals. Who do you think you are? Get the hell out of here." Ji Ling's body was known as the spirit god body. Even in the god world, it was considered one of the top divine bodies. It possessed extraordinary power and was invulnerable to all attacks. It could boost Ji Ling's combat prowess and nullify the attacks of divine weapons. This was the terrifying aspect of a divine body. After the attacks of all the creatures fell behind, they were all shocked. This was the first time they had encountered such a situation. Ji Ling wielded a divine saber in one hand and a divine sword in the other. His saber and sword slashed left and right, and the attacks of the others were all cut down. He even killed 2 or 3 living beings on the spot. His saber and sword both carried a thick martial will. Every move was incomparably strange and impossible to guard against. As long as he attacked, he would not retreat without success. One of the sabers slashed towards Sun Do. Sun Do blocked it with his staff. However, the saber missed his staff like a feint and directly landed on the other side of his body, sending him flying. What kind of strange move is this? Sun Do retreated, not caring about his wounds. His eyes of fire and gold actually couldn't see through the opponent's attack. This was dangerous. His eyes of fire and gold could see through all emptiness. Nothing could escape his sight. However, Ji Ling's attack was able to do so. He couldn't help but be shocked. He stared at Ji Ling again. The other party was also casually slashing out one move after another. Those saber and sword moves always landed on the bodies of the other living beings. It was practically impossible to guard against. Sun Do rubbed his eyes, and his eyes flashed with golden light. He stared closely at Ji Ling, not wanting to miss a single move. He wanted to find a flaw in Ji Ling's defense. Before he could see clearly, a blinding flash of light shone into his eyes. This strong light was too sharp, and his eyes were almost blinded. It turned out that Ji Ling had used a divine mirror weapon. It could flash with boundless light and was specially designed to deal with all kinds of creatures with different pupils. At the same time, Ji Ling also asked for a puppet divine talisman. He was too lazy to continue attacking, so he let the divine puppet do it for him. This puppet divine talisman was incomparably precious. It could fuse with his spiritual will. When the puppet attacked, it was equivalent to him attacking. Ji Ling put away his weapons, crossed his arms, and said indifferently, "Your strength is not bad. However, in front of this divine son, you are nothing but chickens and pottery dogs." The living beings who were still alive were very unwilling to accept this outcome. They fought with the puppet, but not only were they unable to defeat it, but they were also repeatedly injured by it. Disheartened, they all surrendered and retreated. Sun Do didn't want to lose like this. He took out the black pot and smashed it at the puppet, causing it to explode. He was also hit by the puppet, and a wound appeared on his abdomen. If he had retreated a little slower, the puppet would have killed him. Sun Do still wanted to fight with Ji Ling, but in the end, he chose to give up. I'll leave the last battle to Big Brother. I won't fight for his limelight. Sun Do also admitted defeat and left. Sun Do still had the strength to fight, but he realized that he wasn't Ji Ling's match. He didn't force it. In fact, he also wanted to fight with his life on the line and let Yang Wu see through Ji Ling's various trump cards. After thinking about it, he decided not to force it. Why would Yang Wu need his help in the Heaven's chosen battle? Sun Do unconditionally believed in Yang Wu's abilities. He didn't have the slightest doubt. He firmly believed that Yang Wu would definitely become the Heaven's chosen son in an upright manner. As expected, when he left, Yang Wu nodded in his direction. Clearly, the two brothers had a tacit understanding. In the martial arts hall, Ji Ling shouted again, "Who else is not convinced?" He and Yang Wu had defeated more than half of the top 100 living beings. Who else was not convinced? The rest were the living beings of the God Realm. They were very convinced by Ji Ling and didn't dare to attack him. No one answered. This meant that Ji Ling and Yang Wu were about to begin the final battle. I'll give you 1 day to fully recover. We'll fight again. Ji Ling glanced at Yang Wu. Yang Wu smiled faintly and said, "There's no need. We can start the battle now." Self-confidence is a good thing, but excessive arrogance is foolishness. Ji Ling looked as if he was lecturing Yang Wu. He paused for a moment, then said, "I don't want others to say that I'm taking advantage of others. I can't afford to lose face." "Fine. Since you're so magnanimous, I'll hurry up and recover. I don't want to make you wait too long." Yang Wu laughed. He didn't delay any longer and activated the Tao of Life to heal his injuries. This still wasn't enough. He hurriedly activated the 9 mystic arts, absorbing the incomparably dense energy here to replenish his losses. The speed at which he absorbed energy was too fast. It formed a storm, causing all the living beings to be shocked. As expected of someone who was determined to be the chosen one, he was indeed capable. Just the speed at which he absorbed the energy of heaven and earth wasn't something an ordinary person could compare to. This was because Yang Wu had opened all of the exalted 9 profound arts, causing such a commotion. In addition, he had also opened the star prayer technique. In this space, whether it was the energy of the stars or the Xian Qi of heaven and earth, they were all very dense. Cultivating here for a day was at least equivalent to cultivating outside for 100 days or even a year. One had to know that the source energy of heaven and earth existed here. How could other places compare to it? In less than 2 hours, Yang Wu's injuries were completely healed. The energy in his dantian had also completely recovered to its peak state. It even showed signs of improvement. The only bad thing was that the energy of his immortal root was too overdrawn. There was no way to replenish it in a short period of time. He had to refine immortal liquid to help it recover. Yang Wu thought for a moment. There was still time. He used the Tao of Life to convert the Xian Qi of heaven and earth and the energy of the stars here into life energy, slowly nourishing the energy of his immortal root. As expected, his immortal root was slowly recovering. Although the speed was slow, it was still something to be happy about. Yang Wu found a way to convert the energy of heaven and earth in the space of the final realm. The energy of heaven and earth here was enough to support the recovery of his immortal root. It probably wouldn't be possible in other places. After a day of rest, Yang Wu's immortal root had recovered 1/3 of its energy. This speed was already very fast for him. If he was given a few more days, his immortal root would definitely recover to its original state. Ji Ling had been resting with his eyes closed. When the time was up, he opened his eyes and shouted, "Time's up. I challenge you, Yang Wu." Yang Wu smiled slightly and said, "Come." The two youths were at the same place in the martial arts hall at the same time. Everyone's gaze fell on them, and they held their breaths. Who exactly was the heaven's chosen one? The result would be revealed soon. Little Wu, do your best. Beat him into a pig's head. Xianyuan Ho Wu shouted excitedly. At this moment, she didn't hide her admiration for Yang Wu. All along, she felt that the gap between her and Yang Wu wasn't very big. Now, she realized that the gap was still too big. Even if Yang Wu used the immortal liquid to help her advance to the peak stage of the Saint Realm, the gap between them was still very big. In this place, Yang Wu shone brightly. As his good friend, she was proud of it. At the same time, she had a slight impulse to take him for herself. How good would it be if he was my man? She sighed softly in her heart. Lu Ji also shouted, My lord, do your best. My lord, do your best. You are the heaven's chosen one. You are the heaven's chosen one. Lu Ji was the same as Sun Do. He had followed Yang Wu from the beginning. Without Yang Wu, he would have died a long time ago. Now, Yang Wu was standing on the most important martial stage. Of course, he would support him with all his strength. Jianggu also said proudly, Yang Wu, whether our transcendental world can increase its realm level or not depends on you alone. You are the heavens chosen one of our transcendental world, and also the heavens chosen one of the human world. Use all your strength to defeat him. Sun Do clenched his fist and shouted, Big brother, you are the strongest. His vow was domineering enough. The other transcendental world beings also shouted together, Yang Wu is the strongest. Chapter 1584. There weren't many creatures in the transcendent realm, only about 10 or so, but their roars weren't weak at all. They all hoped that Yang Wu would become the chosen one. That way, the transcendent realm would be able to obtain countless resources. It wouldn't be a problem for the transcendent realm to become an intermediate realm. It wouldn't be difficult for them to become an advanced realm either. This concerned the fate of all the creatures in the transcendent realm. They couldn't afford to be selfish. Haha, these guys are pretty cute. The pink-clothed girl laughed. Yes, his strength isn't bad, and he's not much weaker than Jiling. Unfortunately, the gap between the mortal realm and the god realm is right there. How could it be so easy for them to cross over? The ink-black girl said. She paused for a moment before continuing. However, if he reaches the god realm and receives the resources he deserves, his accomplishments won't be low. We can't let go of such a talent. I want him. Big sister Momo, you're too crafty. How could I want such a genius? The pink-clothed girl said. Whether or not he'll survive is still unknown. The reserved youth next to her said. Indeed, Jiling was too strong. Would Yang Wu be able to survive? Yang Wu and Jiling began to fight. Jiling let Yang Wu make the first move, and Yang Wu made his move. A straight punch. Yang Wu stood in a horse stance, raised his fist, and threw out a simple punch. The fastest fist energy he could muster was aimed at Jiling. A faint smile appeared on Jiling's face. This punch again. We're just competing in pure strength. How could you possibly be a match for me? Jiling also punched out, and it was the same straight punch. Behind him was a spirit god, and when he punched out, it was like a spirit god's roar. Bang! The two fists collided fiercely, and it was like two stars colliding. A terrifying explosion rang out, and both of them were sent flying backwards. The two of them retreated to the same distance, and it seemed as though neither of them could do anything to the other. On the surface, it seemed as though the two of them were testing each other's strength, but in reality, they were both using their full strength, wanting to cripple the other with a single punch. Both of their arms were somewhat numb, but they forced themselves not to tremble. So strong, Yang Wu said to himself. Jiling laughed coldly. Just brute force. The two of them charged at each other again and attacked in a frenzy. The two of them fought with speed. Their fists hit flesh, and neither of them intended to hold back. Brutal tyrant fist. Mysterious chaotic fist. Jinwu boxing. Yang Wu used the fist technique he created in a single breath. The terrifying savage beast charged forward with a domineering power. It was filled with an invincible aura. Yang Wu had long established an invincible heart. Over the years, he had traveled all over the world and cultivated his body and qi. Only then did he restrain it. At this moment, he finally released it. His domineering viciousness and savagery made it seem as though he wanted to crush Ji Ling as easily as crushing dry weeds. Ji Ling was no weakling, either. He was the son of God from one of the major powers in the God realm, and he had been nurtured with countless resources since he was young. He was also a young expert who stood out from the other geniuses, so he wasn't intimidated by Yang Wu's aura at all. He also struck out with his own unique divine fist, clashing head-on with Yang Wu. Spirit God Fist. The spirit god that appeared behind him struck out with his fist. It was as if the two of them were exerting their strength at the same time. One fist after another, filled with spiritual energy, blocked Yang Wu's attack and even blasted towards Yang Wu's armor. The Black Tortoise armor had a defensive power, and it deflected most of the power of the spirit god fist, so it didn't hurt Yang Wu. When Yang Wu's fist broke through Ji Ling's blockade, he wanted to injure Ji Ling, but he found that there was an invisible defensive power that blocked his attack. That was the defense of the spirit god's shadow. If it didn't have enough power, it would be impossible for them to break through each other's power. Ji Ling didn't want to fight Yang Wu for a long time. In his opinion, it would be shameful if he couldn't suppress Yang Wu in a short period of time. He shouted, "Break your tortoise armor." He retracted his arm and waved it again. The spirit god behind him received a boundless amount of star energy, and in the blink of an eye, the power of 24 stars descended. A terrifying fist energy blasted out, carrying a torrential fist Dao as it collided with Yang Wu's black tortoise armor. A peak saint would only be able to attract the power of several stars to descend. For a martial saint to be able to attract the power of 12 stars was already incomparably perfect. The star prayer art could help a martial artist attract the power of 12 stars. It could be used to temper the body, and it could also be used in battle. Its strength was heaven-defying. Ji Ling had displayed the strength of a 12-star rune boundary, but the amount of star energy he had attracted was double. He had attracted the power of 24 stars. This punch could break the heavens. Yang Wu didn't dare to underestimate Ji Ling. When Ji Ling's attack came, he could only enter a defensive position and block it. Bang! Yang Wu's black tortoise armor was hit. He pushed the Tao of deflection to the extreme, wanting to deflect the power of the attack. Unfortunately, he was only able to deflect half of it. The other half couldn't be deflected. The power of the spirit god was too strong. Even after breaking through his black tortoise armor, the fist energy still continued to fly towards him. Yang Wu was sent flying by this punch. After Ji Ling's attack succeeded, he used exquisite footwork to attack Yang Wu. However, before he could attack, the Netherworld Ice-Winged Blade slashed towards him. The invisible Netherworld Ice-Winged Blade slashed out, giving Ji Ling a fright. If it wasn't for the spirit god's defense, Yang Wu's attack would have at least injured him. Ji Ling stopped, and Yang Wu stabilized himself. The Emperor Jade armor appeared on his body, completely blocking the power of Ji Ling's punch. Let's see how many punches you can block. Ji Ling laughed coldly. He chased after Yang Wu again, unleashing a barrage of punches. He was determined to beat him to death. Yang Wu also punched back, but this time he was at an absolute disadvantage in terms of power. Ji Ling had the help of the spirit god, which was like having the help of a god. He was in an invincible state. Even the battle prowess of a high-level immortal was only at this level. Unless Yang Wu used the power of immortal chi, he wouldn't be able to block this attack. Yang Wu used the wind god's leg, continuously dodging. Ji Ling was still able to keep up. His punches landed on his body, almost shattering the Emperor Jade armor he was wearing. Yang Wu couldn't stand this passive situation. Even if his opponent's punches were very strong, he couldn't lose like this. He activated his immortal chi and began to counterattack. Yang Wu finally recovered some of his disadvantage, and the battle was once again tied. Yang Wu's cultivation base was still a few levels lower than his opponent's. Moreover, his opponent's physical strength wasn't inferior to his in the slightest. With the spirit god's possession, he was still more suited for a prolonged battle. If you don't use your trump card now, you'll definitely die. Ji Ling suppressed Yang Wu as he continued to bombard him. In the next instant, Ji Ling changed his attack. He He spat out a mouthful of essence chi. This essence chi wasn't inferior to the gold essence chi. When it landed on Yang Wu's body, it sent Yang Wu flying. Even his chest caved in. Ji Ling chased after Yang Wu again. He kicked out at a tricky angle, aiming for Yang Wu's vitals. He didn't give Yang Wu the slightest chance to counterattack. Ji Ling's continuous attacks had indeed caught Yang Wu off guard. It wasn't that Yang Wu was too weak. Rather, it was that Ji Ling's overall battle prowess was much higher than Yang Wu's. Whether it was in terms of speed, attack power, or trump cards, Ji Ling completely suppressed Yang Wu. The creatures of the human realm are creatures of the human realm. It's impossible for them to close the gap with us of the God realm. A creature of the God realm laughed heartily. Suing Jia died an unjust death. Someone like him should be like young Master Ji. Go all out from the start and don't give him the slightest chance to catch his breath. Then you'll be able to completely crush him. Another creature agreed. The heaven's chosen one has been decided. It's young Master Ji, without a doubt. That Yang Wu guy can stay. He'll be a good servant. The creatures of the God realm ignored the creatures of the human realm and loudly discussed. They didn't attach any importance to the creatures of the human realm, nor did they care about their feelings. The creatures of the human realm all had unsightly expressions. They thought that Yang Wu would at least be able to resist for a while. Who would have thought that he'd be beaten like this right from the start? They felt very uncomfortable. Yang Wu, show some fighting spirit. Where did all that energy go? Dong Fong, he shouted. Another person said, if you're going to lose, then lose quickly. Don't make a fool of yourself here. That's right. He looked so powerful before, but now he's at his wit's end. How disappointing. It was fine if these people didn't know how to encourage him, but they even hit him when he was down. You pieces of trash. If you have the ability, then come. If you don't, then shut up. Sun Do roared at them. Sun Do was still quite intimidating. Those creatures shut their mouths and didn't say anything else. However, they still had gloating expressions on their faces. They didn't think that Yang Wu would win at all. Xin Yuan Hou, Lu Ji, and the others were worried about Yang Wu. At the same time, they hoped that Yang Wu would be able to make a desperate comeback. They didn't believe that Yang Wu only had this much battle strength. Suddenly, the lightning fork and fire domain appeared again. It wildly wreaked havoc in the martial arts hall and forced Ji Ling to retreat. Ji Ling's spiritual divinity was having a hard time defending against the lightning bolts. He had no choice but to take out a divine shield and place it above his head to block the lightning bolts. In addition, a defensive barrier appeared around him to block the lightning bolts and divine flames. In terms of divine weapons, he would only have more than others, but not less than others. If he didn't have these high-grade divine weapons, he would have a hard time facing Yang Wu's move. In addition, Ji Ling took out his divine saber and divine sword. He merged the saber and sword into one and slashed at Yang Wu. The heaven's chosen one will only be me. You're too weak. Ji Ling shouted with a strong sense of confidence. The saber and sword slashed apart Yang Wu's lightning fork and fire domain and attacked in Yang Wu's direction. Yang Wu raised his black walk and blocked all of the attacks. His soul eye opened and shot a soul-exterminating light at the other party. No, your little bit of soul power can't hurt me. The spirit deity ignored Yang Wu's soul power attack, and another divine item flew out. This time, it was a short pitchfork that exuded an ancient aura. With a wave of the spirit deity's hand, the pitchfork pierced towards Yang Wu's black walk. Bang! The black pot and the short fork clashed. Mystic chi crazily splashed out. The black pot left Ji Ling's hand and clashed with the short fork. Both of them were true god-grade weapons. Without this defensive pot shield, what else do you have to compete with me? Hurry up and kneel down and admit defeat. Ji Ling approached Yang Wu with the attitude of a victor and shouted. Yang Wu wiped the bloodstain on the corner of his mouth and laughed. It's too early for you to be happy. He then used all his strength and roared. Breakthrough for me. His cultivation level had finally advanced. Chapter 1585. Yang Wu had been holding back for a long time. More than 10 years ago, he had reached the peak of the 9th level of the celestial rune realm. After that, he accompanied Taoist Zhu for 10 years. With the speed at which the sovereign 9 profound arts absorb the profound energy of heaven and earth, he could have entered the 10th level of the celestial rune realm long ago. Later on, after many layers of accumulation, his body almost couldn't take it anymore. Then, he cultivated the star prayer art at the Jiang clan's place, gathering all the energy that overflowed into his major acupoints. It could be said that every part of his body was filled with energy, which was also the reason why he had been fighting so crazily without being exhausted. Today was the day when his accumulation would erupt. Yang Wu's realm was lower than Jiling's, and his battle prowess was also a level lower than Jiling's. Other than breaking through to the next level to kill Jiling, he was at his wit's end. Moreover, suppressing himself to this day was already his limit. The successive battles before had only strengthened his body once more, breaking through the last barrier. Now, it was effortless for him to break through. The energy of the stars converged, forming a starlight that completely enveloped Yang Wu. His realm's barrier was instantly shattered, and he stepped into the 10th level of the celestial rune realm. He didn't need to go into seclusion like others to slowly break through. As for him, the moment he broke through, his Dantian's 1,000 acupoints spewed out pure, profound energy. That wisp of immortal energy also swayed. His limbs, bones, and internal organs were all nourished by this energy. The injuries on his body were all healed, and his strength rose crazily. The 10th level of the celestial rune realm wasn't his limit. His strength was still rising crazily. After sensing the change in Yang Wu, Jiling's face was filled with shock. Breaking through in the middle of a battle? You're really thoughtful. You won't have such a chance. In the next moment, he attacked Yang Wu with all his strength again, not giving Yang Wu a chance to break through. The spirit god fist carried a torrential momentum. Not only did he want to kill Yang Wu with one punch, but he also wanted to disperse the energy of the stars that filled the sky. Yang Wu had already lost the defense of the black pot, and he was at the critical point of breaking through. How could he resist? Now, it was time to consider Yang Wu's ability. At the critical moment, Yang Wu stopped his breakthrough and punched back at Jiling Bang. The two fists collided and the power exploded. Yang Wu was once again forced to retreat. The creature outside exclaimed, "Yang Wu is breaking through. Has he gone mad? He wants to use this to make a desperate counterattack. He really doesn't care about his life. If he's not careful, his cultivation might be destroyed. For the sake of the heaven's chosen one, he really went out. What's the point of a temporary breakthrough?" Jiling's lips curved into a cold smile. "Let's see how many punches you can take." Jiling wouldn't give Yang Wu enough time to break through. His sword and blade flashed again, completely sealing off Yang Wu. He didn't want to give Yang Wu any time to breathe. He wanted to chop Yang Wu into meat paste. Void shuttling art. At the critical moment, Yang Wu used it to dodge Jiling's attack. He retreated to a corner and continued his breakthrough. Hurry up, Yang Wu shouted. He didn't hesitate to refine another drop of immortal elixir. Part of the energy flowed into his immortal root, while the other entered his Dantian. They merged with the profound energy of heaven and earth that he'd absorbed and furiously increased his cultivation. Early 10th level Starun realm, mid 10th level, late 10th level. In the blink of an eye, he was infinitely close to the 11th level. "I won't let you break through again," Jiling roared. Jiling roared. His spiritual divinity shot out, carrying a sword and a saber as it sealed off every corner of Yang Wu's path. The space around Yang Wu was cut into pieces, making it difficult for Yang Wu to escape using the void arts. Sword and blade dual mastery. This was Jiling's most proficient attack. One hand was the Tao of blade, the other the Tao of sword. Both were filled with destructive power. Facing this attack, Yang Wu had nowhere to retreat. He roared, "Bronze cauldron, come out!" Medicinal cauldrons had always been used for alchemy. He'd never thought that they could be used for battle. Yang Wu was really too close. He summoned the bronze cauldron and jumped into it. He used the cauldron to block the attacks. Ding dang ding dang. This crazy power was enough to slaughter high-level deity-level life forms. This was the terrifying power of a deity. It was no wonder that Little Hay was just a frog at the bottom of a well to Yongwu. There were some youths who were born to cultivate, and Ji Ling was one of them. After this round of attacks, Ji Ling had thought that Yongwu was dead for sure. But when he saw this medicinal cauldron appear, a gloomy expression appeared on his face. He hadn't even dealt with the black pot yet, so why had another cauldron appeared? Do you think you're an alchemist? You brought a cauldron with you? Break for me. Ji Ling didn't dare to get too close. He was afraid that Yongwu had some ultimate move. He slashed at the bronze cauldron from afar. Another series of crisp sounds rang out, but the bronze cauldron didn't move at all. It wasn't damaged at all. What a good cauldron. It's mine. Ji Ling shouted. He slashed at the cauldron's mouth again. This time, he used his ultimate move, Spatial Slash. He had to force Yongwu out. Unfortunately, no matter how powerful his attack was, it couldn't break through the cauldron's defense. This cauldron was like an invincible iron bucket. It couldn't be broken at all. Trident, come back. Ji Ling was furious. He called out to the trident that was clashing with the black pot. He planned to use the trident to pierce through Yongwu's cauldron. Without Yongwu's support, the black pot couldn't last long. It was just an instinctive battle. Now that the trident was gone, the black pot didn't take the initiative to attack. It hovered motionlessly in the air, waiting for Yongwu's call. When the trident stabbed at the cauldron, Yongwu also reached the critical stage of his breakthrough. The bottleneck between level 10 Starun Realm and level 11 Starun Realm was almost non-existent. He only needed a little time to complete the extreme circulatory cycle and completely upgrade every part of his body. Bang! The bronze cauldron suffered a heavy impact. Yongwu felt the world spinning around him. His aura became chaotic, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. Cauldron Spirit, can't you be a little more reliable? Yongwu couldn't help but complain. You don't have any immortal energy to give me, yet you ask me to be a little more reliable? Is there any justice in this world? Yao Ling replied. Although the bronze cauldron was of a very high level, it still needed energy to be poured into it in order to unleash enough power. Yongwu was hiding here to make a breakthrough and didn't give it any energy. It was already pretty good that it could block Ji Ling's attack. It would be too difficult for it to block a true divine weapon. All right, I'll go out now. I want to give him a big surprise. Yongwu took a deep breath and broke through the last bit of energy. The energy of 11 Staruns hovered behind him, appearing rather sacred and mighty. Just as he was about to charge out of the cauldron, the trident sent another wave of energy at him, causing him to feel dizzy. I'll give you energy. Smash him to death. Yongwu was enraged. He activated the energy of immortal energy and poured it into the bronze cauldron. The bronze cauldron seemed to come alive as it charged at the trident and Ji Ling. The bronze cauldron flew up and knocked the trident away. The trident's level wasn't low either. Otherwise, it wouldn't have fought so fiercely with the black pot. However, the bronze cauldron's level was even higher. How could the trident be a match for it? After being hit, the trident lost its luster. This meant that Ji Ling's control over it had disappeared, and it was also injured. Ji Ling was shocked. He looked at the bronze cauldron and slashed out with his sword and saber. The domineering power of the saber and sword landed on the bronze cauldron. Only a series of crisp sounds rang out, and many sparks flew. Ji Ling was scared out of his wits. He didn't hesitate to change his position and dodge the bronze cauldron's attack. The bronze cauldron seemed to have eyes and continued to charge at him. Ji Ling was helpless. He could only continue to flee. Ji Ling's speed was still very fast. It was practically teleportation. He dodged the bronze cauldron's attacks every time. Trash like you, come and take my cauldron. What are you running for? Godson of the God Realm? You can't even take a single attack from me. Hey, this young master was just going easy on you. Do you really think I can't deal with you? Child, you're too naive. If you have the guts, don't dodge. This young master will fight you for 300 rounds. Yongwu's voice kept coming out of the bronze cauldron. Ji Ling was so angry that he was fuming. The living beings outside the martial arts hall were speechless. After a while, one of the living beings said, "What kind of cauldron is that? It's so powerful. It must be a true god-level divine weapon. If a divine alchemist saw it, he would go crazy for it. Using it in battle is a waste of a treasure. Yeah, even a true god alchemist would be tempted. It shouldn't be used in battle. It's cheating. Is young Master G out of tricks? He can definitely turn the tables." These living beings didn't know that Yang Wu was a divine alchemist. Yang Zixing said proudly, "What do you know? Our family head is a divine alchemist. He's using the cauldron to fight, not to waste a treasure. He's using it to defend himself. No, he's using it to smash the legs of his enemies." "Ha! Little brat, do you want to die?" A living being from the god realm glared at Yang Zixing and shouted, "I'm so scared." Yang Zixing patted his chest with a look of fear. He paused and said, "When I'm a few years older than you, I can piss you to death. What's there to be arrogant about?" Yang Zixing's words made the living being seethe with anger. Unfortunately, his ranking was higher than Yang Zixing's, so he couldn't challenge Yang Zixing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so polite. "Your pee can't kill him, but it can drown him to death." Another young voice said, "Your pee can drown him to death." Yang Zixing looked at Xie Tian and said unhappily. The living being from the god realm looked at the two little brats and felt a wave of pain. They really were two annoying brats. "Yang Wu, do you only dare to be a coward? Come out and fight me if you have the guts. As you wish, this young master will come out." Chapter 1586. Bang! Yang Wu said that, but he didn't really come out. Instead, he accelerated the bronze cauldron and slammed it into Ji Ling's body. Ji Ling really believed Yang Wu's words. He paused for a moment before falling for Yang Wu's trick. He was sent flying, and his spirit god's shadow almost collapsed. He spat out a mouthful of blood. This was the first time he had been injured in a battle with Yang Wu. The bronze cauldron slammed into him again. Ji Ling shouted, "I don't believe I can't block you. Sacred mountain seal." A moment later, a mountain seal flew out and transformed into a divine mountain that blocked in front of Ji Ling. This was a true god-level mountain seal that was comparable to the short fork and focused on defense and offense. Bang! The bronze cauldron slammed into the sacred mountain seal, creating a shocking sound. The sacred mountain seal was sent flying, and it was on the verge of breaking apart. Ji Ling, who was behind the sacred mountain seal, was also sent flying. He couldn't block it at all. Even a god-level expert couldn't block a divine weapon of this level. Ji Ling felt extremely aggrieved. He had thought that he would be able to completely suppress Yang Wu in terms of combat prowess and divine weapons. But now, it seemed that Yang Wu's medicinal cauldron alone was enough to take his life. "Do you really want to force me to use my trump card?" Ji Ling thought. As a divine son, he had all sorts of trump cards. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to call himself a divine son. After sending the bronze cauldron flying, Yang Wu finally flew out of the cauldron. Yang Wu wasn't in a sorry state like before. Instead, he was high-spirited and spirited. 11 starline lines appeared behind him, and waves of starlight fell, filled with a divine aura. Everyone could see Yang Wu's current cultivation level. They were all in disbelief. Didn't he just break through to the god level? Why is he still in the sage realm? What's going on? Could it be that we were all wrong? Has he always been in the starline realm? That's not possible. The son of heaven must be a proud son of heaven with talent, perception, and opportunity. It is understandable that he is only at the celestial rune realm, but why is he still at the level 11 celestial rune realm after breaking through? Could it be that he was originally at the 10th level of the star rune realm? No, he should be at the 9th level of the star rune realm. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How can someone with such a cultivation level possess such powerful combat strength? Even the creatures of the divine world are only at this level. In our god realm, only a godson like young Master G has the ability to fight against opponents who are several major realms above them. Just what kind of constitution does this brat have? Could it be a divine body as well? None of the living beings could accept this reality. Only a small number of creatures had already seen through Yang Wu's original cultivation level. They couldn't help but exclaim in their hearts, "What a monster! Ji Ling stared fixedly at Yang Wu, the flames of jealousy burning within him. In his heart, he cursed, "I must slaughter this mortal. I must slaughter him." Yang Wu's background was lower than his, but his talent wasn't any weaker than his. Moreover, Yang Wu had humiliated him. This was something he couldn't accept. Yang Wu put away the bronze cauldron, twisted his body, and said, "Come, let the battle begin again." At this moment, Yang Wu regained his confidence. His invincible demeanor had returned. Previously, he was inferior to Ji Ling because of the difference in cultivation level. Now that he had broken through to the level 2 celestial rune realm, his body and soul had undergone a transformation. His combat strength had risen to an even higher state. He was confident that he could defeat Ji Ling. Good, good. I also want to see how much your strength has increased. Don't disappoint me. Ji Ling replied. Did I disappoint you just now? I don't think so. Yang Wu said with a playful smile. Let's do it again. Ji Ling coldly snorted. He took exquisite steps and swept towards Yang Wu. The divine blade in his hand slashed towards Yang Wu's neck. This time, Ji Ling didn't plan to show mercy. He wanted to finish off Yang Wu with one slash and end all troubles. Who would have thought that Yang Wu would summon the bronze cauldron again, frightening him so much that he pulled out his blade and frantically retreated. He was worried that Yang Wu would use the bronze cauldron again. Despicable! Ji Ling angrily cursed. Yang Wu laughed. Haha, I'm an alchemist. There's nothing wrong with using my cauldron to fight, right? Ji Ling was rendered speechless by Yang Wu's words. You're an alchemist. Yang Wu took back the bronze cauldron and said, I'm not playing with you anymore. You're a god from the god realm. You think you're invincible, but you're afraid of an alchemist like me. Too weak. The instant he spoke, the nether ice wing blade had already slashed out. Ji Ling's mental state had already been disturbed by Yang Wu. In a moment of carelessness, he was almost cut by the nether ice wing blade. Ji Ling gritted his teeth and roared, Die! In that instant, the spirit god's projection shone brightly, and an extremely powerful divine power erupted from his body. A blade and a sword slashed through the air towards Yang Wu. Spatial slash. The blade and sword appeared to be aimed at Yang Wu's head, but in reality, they were using the Tao of space to slash at Yang Wu's legs. Yang Wu already knew that Ji Ling's attacks were strange. The black tortoise battle armor had already appeared, and its powerful Tao of deflection blocked the blade and sword attacks. When the power of the blade and sword broke through the black tortoise battle armor, Yang Wu already had time to react and evade the attack. Ji Ling attacked like a torrential storm, not wanting to give Yang Wu any more chances. Both the blade and sword were divine weapons, and their power was immense. The spirit god's possession was also at its strongest state, and he wanted to kill Yang Wu in one go. Yang Wu's strength had increased greatly, so he naturally wouldn't be so passive. I'll beat you fair and square, Yang Wu shouted. He didn't even summon the black pot. Instead, he raised the Big Dipper sword and attacked. Star-swallowing sword Tao. Sword chi that could destroy the heavens and split the earth surged forward, colliding with Ji Ling's attacks. However, Ji Ling's attacks were even more exquisite, and he was always able to break through the blockade of sword energy and land on the black tortoise battle armor, breaking through its defenses and landing on his body. The other layer of his Imperial Jade battle armor was left with sword marks. If its defensive power had been just a little bit weaker, he would have been cut to pieces by Ji Ling. This guy's attacks are still so difficult to deal with. Yang Wu sighed inwardly. The black and white lotus appeared, and the Tao of life and death circulated. The Tao of life and death drained Ji Ling's vitality, and the Tao of life drained Ji Ling's vitality, weakening his combat power. Ji Ling had seen this move of Yang Wu's before, and he was already prepared. He shouted, Spirit God seal descend. The spirit god that was attached to him left his body, holding an ancient seal, and slammed it towards Yang Wu's black and white lotus. Bang! The spirit god body was different from the others in that it cultivated both the true body and the spirit god body together, giving it double combat power. Ji Ling's spirit god body was even stronger than his true body, and it had already reached the deity realm. The spirit god body's attack was much stronger than his true body's. The black and white lotus was stunned by this attack. At the same time, Yang Wu raised his head and roared, "Cycle of life and death." The power of a level. 11 star mark realm erupted, attracting the power of stars one after another. In a few blinks of an eye, 24 stars had fallen. This kind of power was not inferior to Ji Ling's previous eruption of power. But this was still not enough. Wave after wave of star power arrived, and in an instant, the power of 36 stars had reached its peak. The black and white lotus reversed, emitting an incomparably powerful force, and forcibly sent the spirit god flying. However, Ji Ling had already made his move. He swept to a place where Yang Wu couldn't see him, and once again, he strangely attacked with his sword and saber. Spatial innate skill, spatial cut. This was an incomparably terrifying innate skill that could cut through space and use the power of space to envelop Yang Wu, completely annihilating Yang Wu. This time, Yang Wu's black tortoise armor and Emperor Jade armor couldn't block it. A tearing force enveloped him, threatening his life. Void shuttling technique. At the crucial moment, Yang Wu once again used this secret technique, dodging the attack. Void hand. Yang Wu counterattacked. He couldn't let his opponent force him into a corner. Bang! Bang! The Void Hand's attack wasn't any weaker than the Tao of Space. It directly struck Ji Ling a few times, and he didn't know what to do. Ji Ling's reaction was also fast. He once again combined with the Spirit God, erupting with his full combat power. Space Roar. Space Rend. The Tao of Space was said to be one of the hardest martial Taos to comprehend, but Ji Ling was able to do it easily. His combat power was indeed very strong. Those living beings of the divine world didn't dare to face such a terrifying attack. So, with the Tao of Space, Sun Do had been paying attention to Ji Ling's attack, and he finally understood what method Ji Ling was using. Such a killing attack enveloped the entire martial arts hall, and it didn't give Yang Wu a chance to shuttle through space. Yang Wu could only face it head-on and compete with it in a fair and square manner. Yang Wu didn't intend to dodge. His strength had jumped by 2 levels, and his combat power was much stronger than before. So what if Ji Ling's attack was terrifying? He wasn't afraid. He activated his immortal root power. The immortal root power in his body surged, and it flowed through his limbs. His combat power erupted, and he slashed out with the star-swallowing sword technique again, clashing head-on with Ji Ling's power. Under such a clash, Yang Wu still didn't have an obvious advantage, but it was much better than before. Saber come! Yang Wu shouted, and a battle saber appeared in his other hand. This was one of the divine sabers he had obtained from killing other living beings. His opponent was using sabers and swords, and he was also using sabers and swords. He couldn't be any weaker than his opponent. World exterminating wild saber. 2 peerless prodigies, each wielding a saber and a sword, wildly slashing out. Who was stronger? Rumble, rumble, wave after wave of saber light and sword shadows intersected. The battle was too intense. Yang Wu was hit by his opponent's strange Tao of Space, and his body was hit by more than 10 attacks. Without the Emperor Jade battle armor, he would have died. Ji Ling wasn't having a good time either. Yang Wu's saber and sword broke through his defense and slashed his body. The Tao of life and death was also affecting his vitality. Even the spirit god couldn't stop it. If it wasn't for his powerful divine body, he would have been killed by Yang Wu. Spirit god's soul kill. Battle soul congealing body. Chapter 1587. Yang Wu and Ji Ling were both enraged by the battle, and they even began a spiritual battle. Ji Ling was born with a divine body, and his soul was also innately powerful. It had long since reached the divine soul level, and it was incomparably powerful. Yang Wu wasn't weak either. He formed his own spiritual battle body, and it was just like a physical body. He charged out of the divine court with the black demon chain in hand, and lashed out wildly at Ji Ling's divine soul. The two of them fought with their true bodies, their souls, and their divine weapons. The battle was exceptionally intense. The spectators watched with rapt attention, not wanting to miss a single scene. However, the two of them moved faster and faster, and some of the spectators couldn't even see their movements clearly anymore. As they fought, the two of them even tossed aside their divine weapons and fought barehanded. What they were most proficient in was still their fists and legs. Ji Ling's arms had an innate divine ability, and they were known as the spirit god arms. He swung his arms wildly, and the shadows of his arms were like whips, lashing out repeatedly at Yang Wu. Yang Wu also had the barbarian god arms, and his arms were astonishingly powerful. When he activated the barbarian god fists, he was like a barbarian god descending into the world, and he blasted out wave after wave of attacks with unstoppable force. In comparison, Yang Wu was becoming fiercer and fiercer. After his cultivation level had increased, his immortal qi had also increased, and his explosive battle prowess had increased as well. Ji Ling was forced to retreat repeatedly, and he even struck Ji Ling's face several times, causing him to feel extremely uncomfortable. Ji Ling hadn't thought that Yang Wu would be so difficult to deal with after breaking through. He was truly furious. Apart from those in the immortal realm, definitely the first person to force me to this extent within the same realm. Now, I'll send you on your way. Ji Ling shouted, and withdrew his spirit god and soul, merging them into one. His body instantly grew larger, and his aura became more powerful as well. Spirit God Battle Body. This was the time for Ji Ling to unleash his full battle prowess. Ji Ling's fleshly body had grown to a height of 3,000 feet. He was incomparably mighty, and each of his punches and kicks was filled with explosive power. Moreover, he was incomparably nimble, and he swiftly and violently forced Yang Wu to retreat. To be able to force young Master Ji to this extent, this fellow is truly amazing. The ink-black girl said sincerely. That's right. From the looks of it, we aren't a match for that guy either. I wonder how such a heaven's pride could appear in a place lacking in divine aura. The pink-clothed girl said, This is the human realm, the ancestral realm of our human race. It's not surprising for such a genius to appear here, said the reserved young man beside him. When they heard this, all of them deeply agreed. They came from the god realm, but they were also humans. Their bloodlines originated from the human realm. The other living beings all thought that Yang Wu was done for. This sort of monstrous Ji Ling's battle prowess was already comparable to that of a top-tier deity. How could Yang Wu possibly fight him? Unexpectedly, not only was Yang Wu not afraid, he even shouted excitedly. So what if you have a big body? Big, big, big. Yang Wu's body began to grow as well. He quickly grew to a height of 300 meters, not one bit smaller than Ji Ling. This time, the other living beings were all stunned. Ordinary living beings had to reach the deity level to be able to transform their bodies, and only powerful living beings could do so. Ji Ling had a divine body, so it was understandable that she could transform. But what kind of body did Yang Wu have? How could he do this as well? Now, they had every reason to believe that Yang Wu had an extraordinary divine body. No wonder he was chosen as the chosen. Heavens, this guy definitely has a heaven-defying divine body. Is it the divine lightning body? Or the water god body? Or the tyrant god body? The pink-clothed girl cried out in shock. I don't understand, but I suspect it's related to these divine bodies. The ink-black girl said. The other living beings all made their own guesses, but none of them could be sure. The only one who truly understood Yang Wu's body was Yang Wu himself. His body contained an immortal root and was considered an immortal body. He'd never mentioned this to anyone before. Ji Ling stared at the enlarged Yang Wu. At first, he was shocked, but then he had no choice but to face reality and fight to the death with Yang Wu. He still had many divine weapons and could beat Yang Wu to the ground at any time. Puppet Talisman. The puppet talisman appeared, transforming into another him. He planned to fight 1 against 2. Yang Wu, No matter how you struggle, you'll lose. Ji Ling roared, ordering the puppet to attack. He also forced out a new innate skill to attack Yongwu. Spatial compression. He clenched his fists, and the surrounding space crushed down on Yongwu. This space was completely under his control, and he could compress it into a line, crushing all living beings into dust. Ji Ling's moves were truly endless. No one would have expected this. Yongwu had to face the attacks of the puppets, as well as the compression of this space. Under these two pressures, what else could he do? He took a step forward and threw a punch at the puppet. The puppet couldn't even withstand the power of his punch, and it exploded on the spot. In the next instant, his body grew again, and he directly rushed to 4,000 feet, and he was still growing. Soon, he rushed to 5,000 feet. The pressure of the compressed space increased, but he used the void tempering technique to draw out the power of the void from the space and temper his body, completely ignoring the spatial compression. If the heavens suppress me, I'll shatter the heavens. Yongwu gathered all of his spiritual will into one place. The immortal chi in his body erupted. Astral fist. This was the battle fist that his master had passed down to him. He used the power of the immortal chi and the power of the stars in the sky to strike out, and the entire space was about to be completely destroyed by his fist. Bang! Bang! Yongwu's fist was shocking, and the compressed space was completely shattered. Ji Ling's face revealed an expression of incomparable shock. Yongwu's battle intent had completely surpassed his. He couldn't admit defeat like this. He pushed his spirit god body to the limit, and he repeatedly attacked Yongwu from afar. Twisted fist energy crazily rained down on Yongwu from unexpected places. Spatial fist. Yongwu completely ignored these punches. His black tortoise armor and emperor jade armor were both at the limit. His battle prowess was also higher than Ji Ling's, so Ji Ling's attacks didn't hurt him as much. Master, just watch. I'll use the battle fist you taught me to win the title of Heaven's Chosen. Yongwu shouted. It was as if he had transformed into a star. The power of all 36 stars gathered together and blasted towards Ji Ling like a hot knife through butter. Starfall. This was Yongwu's strongest punch. All of his spirit energy fused together, and it was as if his master had descended. That domineering aura was unstoppable. Ji Ling felt as if he were being suffocated, as if he was being threatened. He shouted loudly, I'm the chosen one. He had completely merged with his spirit god and fused his strongest power into his fist energy. He blasted it out directly, wanting to compete with Yongwu. He had merged with his spirit god and used his divine body. There was a limit to how long he could last. If he couldn't take down Yongwu with this move, he would lose. Everyone watched this scene rigidly. Just who exactly was the better one? Victory and defeat were about to be decided. The two world-destroying fist energies collided fiercely. It was like two stars colliding, and it would depend on which star was tougher. Rumble. The energy in the martial arts hall was turbulent. The power of the stars scattered in all directions, and the spatial zone was constantly shaking. It lasted for 15 minutes before it gradually calmed down. When the power in this place dissipated, a figure flew out heavily and rapidly shrank. This figure was none other than Ji Ling, who had been sent flying by Yongwu. The one standing was Yongwu. He was sent flying for 3 kilometers before he could stabilize himself. The battle armor on his body was shattered, and there was a terrible fist energy imprinted on his body. It almost penetrated his chest. The two figures were rapidly shrinking. One was standing, and the other was lying down. The victor was obvious. Yongwu didn't move. He could feel the power of the spirit god in his chest. It was constantly wreaking havoc on his vitality, making it difficult for him to recover. Ji Ling, who had fallen, bounced up and coughed out blood. He laughed and said, "Ha, this time you have lost. You are really willing to put your spirit god into my body. Aren't you going to let me refine your spirit god?" Yongwu said with a sullen face. At this moment, it was Ji Ling's spirit god that was acting on his body. It was a perfect punch, and both sides were injured. Yongwu originally had the advantage. However, at the crucial moment, Jiling's spirit god left his body and entered Yangwu's body along with the power of the punch. At this moment, the spirit god was devouring Yangwu's vitality. It wanted to refine Yangwu. This was Jiling's most terrifying attack. The spirit god was Jiling's physical body. It could also be said that it was another part of Jiling's body. It had terrifying divinity, and ordinary people couldn't withstand it. Once touched by the spirit god, without absolute strength, it was impossible to expel the soul spirit. In the end, one's vitality would be devoured by the spirit god. When the spirit god devoured Yangwu's vitality, it would grow stronger. When it returned to Jiling's body, Jiling would reap great benefits. Similarly, if the spirit god was injured, Jiling would also be injured. This was Jiling's forbidden move. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he wasn't allowed to use this move. The risk was too great. Since his debut, Jiling had only used this move 3 times. And all 3 times, he had encountered opponents stronger than him. In the end, he had been defeated by this move. Now, Yangwu was stronger than him. He had no choice but to use this move, hoping to take down Yangwu. He also believed that Yangwu wouldn't be able to escape. If you have the ability, then refine it. Unfortunately, you definitely won't be able to do it. You can slowly wait for your death. Jiling was incomparably proud. He was refining the divine liquid, quickly recovering his injuries and strength. He absolutely wanted to recover before Yangwu. However, Yangwu's punch wasn't easy to deal with. The Tao of life and death had entered his body, and it was also depriving him of his vitality. It was easier said than done for him to recover. You think too highly of your spirit god. It just so happens that it can replenish my strength. Yangwu's lips curled into a cold smile. He circulated the supreme 9 mysteries formula and pulled the spirit god's energy into his immortal root. The immortal root was interested in the spirit god. It wanted to absorb and refine it. This was the immortal root's rare hunger. How could Yangwu not satisfy it? Impossible. Chapter 1588. When Jiling sent the spirit deity into Yangwu's body, everyone in the divine world thought that Jiling would win without a doubt. However, the situation took a turn for the worse. Jiling suddenly let out a shrill scream. His aura was rapidly weakening, and his vitality was also diminishing. He was in a very bad state. Quick, release my soul spirit. I am a divine world spirit. Do you dare to do this to me? Your world will be implicated. Jiling looked at Yangwu with difficulty. You still dare to threaten me? Then hurry up and refine it. Yangwu's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. When the spirit deity was pulled into the immortal root, its power started to crumble. In front of the immortal energy, the spirit deity's power was much weaker. Its power was completely disintegrated, and it couldn't struggle no matter how hard it tried. Yangwu's immortal root energy was quickly replenished and even improved. This spirit deity was indeed a great tonic. When the spirit deity was refined by Yangwu, Jiling's eyes rolled back and directly fainted. In the martial arts hall, only Yangwu was left. Every living being knew what this meant. Yangwu was going to become the heaven's chosen son of this 1,000 saints assembly. In other words, he was the first saint of the human world and had obtained supreme glory. Without waiting for the other living beings to challenge him, a voice rang out in the 1,000 saints hall. The heaven's chosen son has been determined. All saints, return to your positions. Following this voice, the 10,000 lotus seats flickered with an indescribable light. Those who were already dead were resurrected once again and appeared on the rankings that they were supposed to sit on. Yangwu looked at the resurrected Nan and silver-patterned tortoise and revealed a look of ecstasy. Nan, little silver. These resurrected people included Su Yingjie, who was slaughtered by Sun Do, and the many living beings that Yangwu had killed. They were all alive. Yangwu had also returned to his seat of honor from the martial arts hall. From his angle, he was able to overlook all the living beings below him. It was an indescribable feeling of satisfaction when he felt that all the living beings were beneath his feet. Ji Ling had already woken up, and his injuries had been completely healed. He glared at Yang Wu, filled with unwillingness. He had lost his spiritual divinity for no reason, and this was something that the All Saints Hall had no way of replenishing. He wanted nothing more than to swallow Yang Wu alive. The rankings of the various realms have been announced, and the reward have been sent to each realm. You may cultivate in the lotus seeds for 49 days. The top 1,000 will have the right to head to the God world, where you may give up. It is up to you. The All Saints Hall's voice rang out once more. Next, a golden list appeared in front of everyone. This was the newest ranking of the 81 worlds. Every time the Myriad Saints competition was held, it meant that the 81 worlds would be reshuffled. The higher the ranking, the more resources that world would receive. These resources were given out by the All Saint Hall, and no one needed to collect them. Furthermore, this kind of distribution was done through the mighty power of the heavens, and it was not something that could be done by humans. The living beings of the 81 worlds all felt that the All Saints Hall was created by the God world of the human world, and the rise and fall of any world would be decided by it. The first world, the transcendental world. The second world, the heaven martial world. The third world, the human king world. The fourth world, the Tao world. The fifth world, the Buddha world. This was the world list. There was a huge change. The transcendental world, which was originally at the bottom, suddenly became the first world. The speed of its rise was too fast. As for the other worlds, there were some changes as well. The biggest changes were the Shattered Star world and the Profound Dream world, which both dropped a few ranks. The other worlds only moved 1 or 2 ranks at most. Next was the 10,000 Saints list. The first world, the Transcendental world, Yang Wu. The second world, the Transcendental world, Sun Do. The third world, the Heaven Martial world, Xiao Wu. The fourth world, the King world, Guo Xinling. The 10,000 Saints list did not have any name from the God world, which meant that they only received benefits and could not be ranked with the living beings of the human world. The living beings of the God world had long expected this and did not have much of a reaction to it. However, one of them muttered, "So this guy is the chosen one. Being defeated by him is not something to be ashamed of." This living being was the Golden Peng that Yang Wu had defeated. He had also entered the 10,000 Saints list in his human form, and he was also Su Ingjia's mount. His ranking was not very high, and he did not appear to be very eye-catching. Just as the saints were sitting and cultivating, the 2 saint rankings appeared in all the worlds at the same time. In the transcendental world, the 2 saint rankings descended from the sky at the same time, and every living being in every world could see them clearly. Large, shining golden words were imprinted in their hearts at a glance. The first world, the transcendental world. The first world, the transcendental world, Yang Wu. These 2 rows of words were high and mighty, suppressing everything, and all living beings in every world cheered. The first world, the transcendental world, the first saint, Yang Wu. The first world, the transcendental world, the first saint, Yang Wu. The first world, the transcendental world, the first saint, Yang Wu. In every realm, they were all shouting the same thing. There were no words that could express their feelings at this moment. In an instant, they completely understood why the transcendental realm had changed so much. All kinds of resources were rapidly growing, and many warriors had broken through their bottlenecks, becoming even more powerful. There were newborns who had developed super powerful battle constitutions. All of this was because of Yang Wu. He was the one who had led the transcendental realm to become the #1 realm, and his title as the first saint was well-deserved and glorious. Since ancient times, there had been no living being in the transcendental world who had contributed more than Yang Wu. Yang Wu had become the one and only hero of the transcendental world, and he was even a god. Today, regardless of whether they knew Yang Wu or not, they all knew him. In the Apothecary Alliance, Xiang Dingtian, Miao Biaoqi, and the others were overjoyed when they saw the 2 golden lists. "It's so stressful to have such a junior brother," Xiang Dingtian said, grinning from ear to ear. "It should be said that it's stressful to have such a vice leader." Miao Biaoqi, who had always been old-fashioned, also joked. Sigh. If senior brother was still here, I wonder how happy he would be. I'm afraid our heaven palace would have hope. It's not difficult to reorganize the heaven palace. The difficult part is how to make it rise again. Yang Wu just needs to wave his arm, and it won't be a problem to rebuild a force stronger than the heaven palace. I'm afraid the transcendental world's fate will be concentrated on him. It's hard to believe that the kid can do this. It's too unexpected. The Battle Tribe's Yang family. The entire clan was overjoyed and overjoyed. For so many years, the Yang family had been suppressed by the Xing family to the point where they could not raise their heads. Since Yang Wu's return, he had slowly helped the Yang family to rise and even caused the Xing family to fall. Now, Yang Wu had become the world's greatest saint. He was the one and only superhero in the transcendental world. The Yang family's development would be unstoppable. This child is too unbelievable. Gong Xilan was so excited that she couldn't speak coherently. Qing Feng said in disbelief, "Grandmother, is it really the family leader? There can't be someone with the same name, right? You damn child, what are you talking about? Can you find another Yang Wu in the transcendental world as powerful as him?" Gong Xilan scolded, then smiled and said, "Quick, tell the entire family and city to celebrate for 7 days and 7 nights. All expenses will be on our Yang family's account." "Yes, grandmother," Qing Feng said happily. In the 100-Flower sect, there was a pair of master and disciple who were staring at the golden list. They didn't come back to their senses for a long time. "Kurun, do you think it's your little brother who did this?" The older woman asked the green-clothed woman. The green-clothed woman smiled like a blooming flower and said, "You can't find another person as powerful as young master in the transcendental world." The young woman was stunned, then jumped up and said, Yes, you're right. It must be your little brother who did this. It must be him. It's over. I've fallen in love. This time I've really fallen in love. I'm going to marry your little brother." "Master, are you crazy? My little brother already has someone he loves." "I'm not crazy. How could I be crazy? I've never been as clear-headed as I am now. I've had my eyes on him since many years ago, although the gap between us is a bit big. Who told me to be so beautiful and elegant? No matter how powerful he is, he'll definitely fall under my skirt." "Master, that's not called elegant. It's called coquettish. You damned disciple. Hurry up and help your master. I want to be your sister-in-law." Those who were on good terms with Yang Wu were all happy for him. They were all proud of him. As for the factions that were enemies of Yang Wu, they felt as if they had eaten a dead child. This was especially so for the Xing family. Everyone was anxious. What should we do? What should we do? Yang Wu has become the first sage. He has become the first sage of the human world. Our Xing family will have a hard time. We should be more respectful to the Yang family in the future. I'm sure they won't dare to be too impudent to us. I've already said that we should have mobilized our strongest forces to kill Yang Wu. Now, we've nurtured a tiger that invites calamity. Hurry up and discuss with the other families. Let's see if we can negotiate with the Yang family. The members of the Xing, Lu, and Li families quickly gathered together. The Li family immediately announced that they were withdrawing from the alliance. They would no longer be on the same side as the Xing and Lu families. There was no other way. The Yang family and the Xing family were mortal enemies. If the Li family continued to stand on the Xing family's side, they would be destroyed in the future. The Li family's withdrawal caused the Xing and Lu families to resent them. However, this was a special time. They couldn't work together to deal with the Li family. They could only bear this grudge in their hearts. The Li family took the opportunity to thicken their skin and visit the Yang family again. They wanted to form an alliance with them again. The Tower of Divination. The Tower of Divination stared blankly at the two lists. When he came to his senses, he announced, "These two lists will be recorded in the annals of history. The name of Yang Wu will be recorded in the annals of history. It will announce to the world that Yang Wu is the first sage of a human world. He is the hero of the transcendent realm. The Tower of Divination is willing to become an ally of the Yang family. Whoever dares to make an enemy of the Yang family will make an enemy of the Tower of Divination." Yes, Tower Master. On this day, Yang Wu's name spread throughout the human world. Even the god world was shaken. Chapter 1589. At the Purple Firmament Palace. Yang Wu had once brought many powerful cultivators here to take his wife, Yu Yu, away. In the end, they were transferred to the Divine Firmament battlefield. At that time, everyone thought that Yang Wu was dead for sure. Even the people of the Purple Firmament Palace thought so. Even if Yang Wu had boundless potential and was an amazing divine apothecary, he was nothing in their eyes. No matter how powerful he was, could he be more important than the gods of the divine world? However, today, Yang Wu had given everyone in the Purple Cloud Palace a solid slap in the face, making them dizzy and at a loss for what to do. Yang Wu had become the first sage in the human world. The value of this was too great. There are many first places. They could look down on the first place of each town, city, or realm because they were the Purple Firmament Palace. The Purple Firmament Palace had been standing for more than 1,000,000 years. It was one of the earliest forces after the Transcendental World was established. They had a shocking foundation and countless geniuses. They never lacked all kinds of powerful figures. Just like this martial sage assembly, many geniuses from the Purple Firmament Palace had also fought their way in. This was also why they looked down on many people. Back then, no matter how powerful Yang Wu's potential was, they really didn't care. They were more concerned that the gods of the divine world had taken a fancy to Ziyu and wanted to bring her to the divine world. Because of this, they would rather offend Yang Wu or kill Yang Wu than let him and Ziyu be together. On this day, in the Purple Firmament Palace, the Purple Firmament Palace's patriarch was alarmed. "Patriarch, how should we decide on this matter?" asked the Supreme Guardian. Immediately, a Supreme Guardian said, "Yang Wu is too powerful. If we had known, we would have let him and Yu be together. I think they are a match made in heaven." "That's not what you said back then. Isn't it too late to say this now?" retorted someone. "Not at all, not at all. Our Purple Firmament Hall has a beautiful holy maiden. I believe the Yang family won't reject our marriage alliance. Back then, we offended Yang Wu so badly. It would be strange if he would marry us. Don't Su Zhong and the others have an adopted daughter? Her looks are not bad. If we marry her over, Yang Wu should be able to appease his anger, right? Young people, there's no hurdle that they can't cross. Besides, we have no other choice. If the God Realm wants you, there's nothing we can do. Enough. What's the use of arguing here?" The Purple Firmament ancestor shouted. Now, everyone was settled down. Then, he said faintly, "What's done can't be changed. What's more, if he wants to grow, he still needs some time. Maybe he will go to the Celestial Realm directly. He won't have time to bother with us. Let me ask the Celestial Realm's gods about this matter. The great ancestor is right. If he goes to the Celestial Realm, let the Celestial Realm's gods destroy him. What first saint? Before he becomes a god, he's just a pile of shit," cursed the Tong Tian. Just as he finished cursing, a terrifying divine thunder suddenly broke through the Purple Firmament Hall's temple and struck toward him. Boom! This divine lightning came too suddenly, and its power was too terrifying. Their divine palace made of divine materials was blasted apart, and that Tongtian expert was split into pieces on the spot. He couldn't be more dead. The people of the Purple Firmament Hall were frightened. Heaven's wrath. Everyone swallowed and didn't dare to move at all. It didn't just happen in the Purple Firmament Hall. The same thing happened in many other places. Those who cursed Yang Wu were all killed by the divine thunder. The Transcendental Realm advanced rapidly because of Yang Wu. It could be said that Yang Wu was half the master of the Transcendental Realm. The willpower here respected him. Anyone who dared to insult him would be punished by heaven. This was the deterrent power of the first saint of the human realm. Otherwise, how could such an ancient force be afraid? Since the human realm was divided into 81 realms, the first saint of the Transcendental Realm should be treated like this. The Purple Firmament Great Ancestor went to the altar and burned incense to pray for the gods of the Celestial Realm to descend. He burned divine incense and prayed with divine consciousness. There were many divine elephants on the altar. They were all Celestial Realm masters who had appeared in the Purple Firmament Hall for countless years. They had all taken root in the Celestial Realm and became big shots. The purple firmament hall was their route. As long as they followed the rules set by them, they would be able to sense it. Once, Zuu was sent to the celestial realm on this altar. After the purple firmament great ancestor knelt for 3 days and 3 nights. When the divine incense was about to burn out, a divine aura suddenly descended from one of the divine elephants. A voice sounded, "What has disturbed this god? My lord, I have something to report." The purple firmament great ancestor knelt on the ground respectfully and simply told the whole story to the god, asking him to make the decision. After the god listened, he said, "The chosen child of the human realm is chosen once every 1,000 years. All of them are children of fortune since ancient times. In fact, they are just one of the new guardians of the celestial realm. Look at how panicked you are. Please enlighten us, my lord." The purple firmament great ancestor did not dare to raise his head and ask. The human realm is broken. In order to reunite it, someone must do it. But these people can't do it, so they can only protect it. The god sighed and said, "Go find the child of fortune and ask him to join our purple firmament hall. We will agree to any price." Ask him to join our purple firmament hall? Is this possible? He is the first. Not your purple firmament hall, but our purple firmament hall. When he reaches the celestial realm, ask him to come to our purple firmament hall. We will use all our resources to nurture him. Is it really okay to pay any price? Yes, the child of fortune's talent is 1 in 10,000. He has a chance to become a small tycoon in the future. It is not impossible for him to become a big tycoon. Then, can he marry Zuu? Her matter has already been arranged. There are many goddesses in our purple firmament hall. How can a child of fortune like him lack women? Just do as I say. If he doesn't join our purple firmament hall, I will hold you responsible. After the god disappeared, the purple firmament great ancestor was melancholy. Just as the divine world's divine spirit had said, Yang Wu did not lack women. Especially in the transcendent world, the number of women who liked him was definitely not a small number. He had seen Yang Wu before, so he knew very well what Yang Wu looked like. In this kind of situation, if he did not return Zuu to her, why would she join the Purple Cloud Hall? It was difficult. All Saints Hall. 10,000 living beings were quietly cultivating, devouring, and refining the strands of heaven and earth source chi. The heaven and earth source chi could transform their bodies and increase their strength. Even if it was very thin, it was enough to make them go crazy. 49 days was a very short time, but the harvest was no less than cultivating for 49 years. Yang Wu also wanted to cultivate properly, but he did not want to absorb the heaven and earth source chi. He felt that it was too wasteful. He thought to himself, I wonder if I can collect the heaven and earth source chi? Now, he had just broken through to the level 11 star mark realm and was in his best condition. It was not easy to use the heaven and earth source chi to increase his strength. Of course, it was also good to use it to strengthen his immortal foundation. He was just afraid that the immortal immortality peach tree would snatch it away. You can take away the heaven and earth source chi if you want. A voice sounded in Yang Wu's ear. Who the hell are you? Yang Wu was shocked. What he was thinking in his heart was sensed by the other party. This was too terrifying. Close your eyes and don't think about anything. Then, I will tell you who I am. Yang Wu did as he was told and closed his eyes. His body and mind relaxed, and he did not think about anything. Soon, he felt that he had appeared in an empty land. There were heaven and earth source chi everywhere. There were dragons, tigers, phoenixes, and turtles. There were so many of them that he was drooling. Do you like it? A voice sounded. Then, a shadow formed by the heaven and earth source chi appeared in front of Yang Wu. The shadow was in the shape of a human, but it also looked like an ape. To be more precise, it was more like a primitive human. It was just that it was formed by the heaven and earth source chi. What is this place? Yang Wu looked at the shadow and asked, This is the human realm's realm core, and I am the spirit of the realm core. The human shadow replied. Yang Wu was confused and asked, Realm core? Is it something like a star core? Something like that. It is just a little more high-end. I see. Then, why did you ask me to come here? Yangwu did not understand what a realm core was, but he knew what a star core was. Nan Nan had obtained a realm core, which was the core energy of a star. Then, this was the core area of the human realm. It was just that he did not understand what the spirit of the realm core wanted to do. Follow me and take a look at everything in the human realm. The human shadow said and waved his hand casually. A spatial world appeared. Yangwu looked at the world and instantly felt that it was a little familiar. However, he was not sure if it was the place he was thinking of. After all, this world was vast and boundless. It was the first time he had seen such a boundless field of vision. Even if he flew to the 9 heavens to look down, it would not be as clear and clear as it was here. Is this the transcendent world? Yangwu looked carefully and realized that there were 2 dragon-like rivers that crossed many worlds. He could not help but ask the question in his heart. That's right. This is the transcendent world where you were born. The shadow replied. Then, he waved his hand again and another spatial world appeared. This is the human king realm. Yangwu saw an even more beautiful and magnificent spatial world. It was many times bigger than the transcendent world. There were countless living beings. This is the heaven martial realm. This is the 7 rainbow world. This is the shattered star world. Under the guidance of the shadow, Yangwu looked at every spatial world in the human realm. His heart was filled with shock. It turned out that the human realm was so big and magical. It was amazing. The human realm was originally a large world. Now it has become 81 worlds. Do you know why it has become like this? Chapter 1590. Why did the human realm become the 81 realms? According to legends, a great battle broke out between great beings, and the human realm was divided into 81 realms. There were also records that said the human realm was heading toward destruction. It couldn't bear the existence of so many living beings, so it was divided into 81 realms to accommodate more living beings. In addition, there were also records that said the collapse of the heavenly Tao caused the human realm to collapse as well. The Tao was incomplete, and the heavens were split. There were all kinds of legends, and there was no definite answer. Yangwu also didn't know why the human realm was divided into 81 realms. If these 81 realms were combined into one, then how glorious would the human realm have been in the past? The spirit of the divine core told Yangwu the secret of why the human realm was divided into 81 realms. When a human realm was first born, Pangu opened the heavens, and Nu Zue created humans. All living beings were created, and races with high intelligence appeared. Among these races, humans were the weakest, but their vitality was extremely tenacious, and they nurtured the wisdom of creation. Slowly, humans rose and became the masters of the human realm, and this realm was named Human Realm. In fact, since the creation of the God of creation, this was a place for humans to live in. After countless years, supreme beings appeared in each race, and they became more and more powerful. They were unwilling to stay in this realm, and wanted to leave here to see the wider world. Sure enough, outside of the human realm, there was the Yao realm, the ghost realm, and the devil realm. There were a total of 4 realms, and the living beings of the other 3 realms weren't inferior to the living beings of the human realm. In fact, they were even stronger. The living beings of the other realms also weren't willing to stay in their own realms, and they began to invade each other. The chaotic war of the 4 realms also led to the earliest race realm war. After the realm war, the living beings of the 4 realms were baptized by blood and tears, but they also took root in different places and survived. For example, the human realm had the Yao race, the ghost race, and the devil race. These were all seeds left behind by the earliest realm war. As time passed, conflicts between the 4 realms occurred. Some top-level living beings walked around the 4 realms, and they still weren't satisfied with these places. They continued to search for bigger worlds in the universe, and in the end, they found the undeveloped God realm. Thus, the top-level living beings of each realm used the God realm as their root and injected life into the God realm, becoming the original spirits of the God realm of creation, and later the celestial realm. The higher the living beings of each realm, the higher their intelligence, and the stronger their combat power. These were not the main points that Yang Wu wanted to pay attention to. Yang Wu was more concerned about why the human world was divided into 81 worlds. The spirit of the realm core finally reached the main point. There's a big secret in the mortal realm. Those powerful cultivators who wanted to become supreme finally thought of attacking the mortal realm. They wanted to seize the power of the realm core and become the supreme god of the mortal realm, an existence that surpassed the 6 realms. Those powerful cultivators who had already become gods and immortals searched for the power of the realm core. The power of the realm core was the power that created all living things, and they were all created by the power of the realm core. They wanted to kill their parents, and heaven and earth would not tolerate it. The power of the realm core thought that it could suppress and kill them, but their strength had already taken a different path and was not limited to just one realm. In the end, they joined forces to break into the realm core, and the power of the realm core engaged in an ultimate battle with them. In the end, they were killed by the power of the realm core, but the pillars of the realm core also collapsed and split into 81 parts, and it was difficult for them to reassemble. In that battle, countless living things died in the mortal realm, and the living things of the 81 realms split up. The Tao of heaven collapsed, and it was difficult for martial arts to be complete again. The realm core did not want any living things that were too powerful to appear again, so it allowed the living things of the 81 realms to continue living like this. Regardless of whether the human realm is united or not, the power of the realm core still exists. Those gods and immortals who want to surpass the 6 realms all want it. As a part of the human realm, you are the chosen one, chosen from countless living beings. Your martial will, comprehension, and talent are all the strongest. I hope you can become the guardian of the human realm and stop those strong cultivators from devouring the power of the realm core. Once the power of the realm core is absorbed, all living beings in the 81 realms will suffer, and even the human realm will completely collapse and cease to exist. Yang Wu felt like he was listening to a heavenly book. He felt that all of this was too unbelievable. He was stunned for a long time before replying, "You want me to protect the human realm? Isn't this a joke?" Now, he felt like someone suddenly appeared in front of him and said, "I see that you have a strange physique and are a martial arts genius. I will leave the heavy responsibility of saving the world to you." The feeling of a what the F *** K running over was too funny. "Since we are here, why would I joke with you? Aren't you willing to do something for the human realm?" That shadow asked again. Yang Wu shook his head lightly and said, "That's not it. It's just that I don't think I have the ability to do so." "Then let me ask you, when you enter the mountain prison, did you ever think that you would one day trample all the saints like this and become the first saint?" Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, "You know about my matters. I know everything about you." Yang Wu was puzzled. He felt that he was facing the power of the realm core. Nothing in the human realm could escape its senses. What right did he have to negotiate? "All right, then what benefits do I get from being the guardian? You can't make me the guardian and then let me fight against those strong cultivators, right? You should know that I can't even withstand a single attack from them." He did not fear ordinary divine-level cultivators, but how could he not fear those at the true God realm? He had seen the God Palace's God Chain. One God Chain's power could kill any divine-level cultivator. "Of course, I won't make you work for nothing. You're too weak. There is heaven and earth source chi here for you to take. It can help you quickly become a strong cultivator. With your power, it is more than enough to protect the realm core," that shadow said. What a great temptation! Yang Wu exclaimed in his heart. There was heaven and earth source chi everywhere. If he cultivated here, one day would be more than 10 days in the outside world. If he wanted to become a strong cultivator, it would be very easy. Yang Wu almost agreed, but after thinking about it, he said, "I can't stay here and cultivate." "What? You want to refuse? Can you bear to see the 81 worlds destroyed and all your family members die because of it?" "It's not that I want to refuse. I can't bear to see the human world destroyed. I really can't do anything. I have my difficulties," Yang Wu said with a troubled expression. He cultivated the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula. He needed to gather 9 types of mysterious essence chi to break through to the strongest level. Once he cultivated the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula, he could not change to another Xian formula. Little Hay had already told him about this. He did not think that Little Hay was exaggerating. Moreover, he had a deep understanding of the wonders of the Imperial 9 profound arts. Recite the formula. That shadow seemed to be able to read people's minds. No matter what Yang Wu was thinking, it knew exactly what he was thinking. Yang Wu was helpless. He could only obediently hand over the Sovereign 9 Mysteries formula. However, he was not stupid. He had only recited a part of the formula. Who knew what kind of terrifying creature it was? So it's this formula. I understand your difficulties. That shadow said with a trace of indescribable emotion. Then do you have a way to help me find other mysterious essence chi? Yang Wu asked urgently. If he obtained other mysterious essence chi, it would not be difficult for him to cultivate to the strongest level. Seeing that there was so much source chi of heaven and earth, it would not be difficult for him to become a guardian. You have to find it yourself. I can't help you. You can only rely on yourself. Yang Wu sighed and said, I knew it would be like this. He paused for a moment and said, Then can you give me some source chi of heaven and earth? What I can give is already on the lotus seat. You can't take any more. Go out. The spirit of the world core said, and sent Yang Wu back to his original position. Yang Wu came back to his senses. He felt that everything was like a dream. He was extremely confused. The human world was destroyed by those experts who wanted to surpass the 6 realms. The human world core had always been coveted by those experts. Sooner or later, there would be experts who would come to fight for it. The spirit of the world core had self-protection consciousness. But when the opponent was too strong, it did not know if it could protect itself. That was why it looked for the chosen one to become its guardian. However, did Yang Wu not have such an opportunity? When Yang Wu left, the spirit of the world core seemed to have turned into a snake. It muttered, Cultivating that mysterious art is not as simple as being a guardian. It seems that the rise and fall of this place in the future will be related to him. Since that's the case, I'll help him solve some of his worries. In the next moment, a ball of source chi of heaven and earth was injected into the transcendent world. The transcendent world underwent a new change. The realm of survival became bigger. All kinds of resources were born again. Countless living beings' realms were increasing crazily. This meant that the transcendent world's level had increased again. If it was said that Yang Wu's first wish was to help the transcendent world become better and make the transcendent world a medium-level world, then the spirit of the world core had made it a high-level world. This meant that the living beings of the transcendent world would become stronger and stronger. They would have more room to grow. Yang Wu's relatives were all in the transcendent world. If the transcendent world benefited, they would naturally benefit too. When Yang Wu returned to the transcendent world, he would also receive great benefits. Yang Wu did not know about all this. He sat cross-legged on the lotus seat. He felt a little regretful that he had missed a great opportunity. He scolded in his heart. Little Hay, if you were by my side, I promise not to beat you to death. You caused me to miss the opportunity to become the strongest expert. He firmly believed that the spirit of the world core had the ability to make him the strongest expert in the human world. However, because of the 9 mystic arts of the Supreme, he had missed this great opportunity. He could only blame Little Hay. However, he did not think too much about it. After a while, he began to cultivate. Other people were absorbing and cultivating the thin source chi of heaven and earth to increase their physique and strength. He did not do so. He really did not know what he was thinking. Chapter 1591. What was Yang Wu trying to do? Of course, he wanted to bring the heaven and earth source chi back. He had continuously raised his cultivation level, and it was not suitable for him to continue. Moreover, the heaven and earth xian qi and star energy here were incomparable to the outside world. He could make use of the environment here to cultivate. Others could only cultivate here for 49 days, but he could cultivate here for an entire year. Many things could change in a year's time. When the living beings here broke through their cultivation level and were sent out, he continued to stay here. He kept recalling the gains from the battles during this period and started to sort out his shortcomings and learn the strengths of others. In the continuous battles, he used the immortal moon mirror technique and learned many strong moves. Perhaps he could use them when he reached the God world. Many of the living beings were sent back to their own spatial realms. A portion of the living beings in the top 1,000 directly went to the God world. The spirit of the realm core satisfied them one by one. A portion of the living beings could choose to go to the God world later, but this time limit could not exceed 3 years. If they did not leave the human realm within 3 years, the spirit of the realm core would not care about them. These 3 years were just for them to settle the matters after they died, because once they went to the God world, it would be difficult for them to return. The spirit of the realm core rejected the strong, living beings of the God world. The stronger the living beings, the more it rejected them. If it was not for the fact that this was the homeland of the human race, it would not want the humans of the God world to return. Yang Wu did not think about this matter for the time being. He had been in seclusion and dispelled the gains he had made during this period of time, consolidating the strength of the level 11 star rune realm. A year's time passed in the blink of an eye. Not only did Yang Wu digest the gains from the various battles, he also rose from the initial stage of the level 11 star rune realm to the later stage. He was infinitely close to the level 12 star rune realm. This was under the condition that he had not refined the heaven and earth source chi. To have such a huge improvement was not only because of the supreme 9 mystic arts, but also because the heaven and earth Xianqi here was too dense. Moreover, he was close to the star rune realm and could constantly absorb a large amount of star energy. It would be strange if his strength did not increase. Seeing that the cultivation was about to end, Yang Wu quickly thought of a way to keep the heaven and earth source chi. This was his reward. Collect. Yang Wu opened the Qinkuan space and collected the source chi of heaven and earth. Master, if you don't share some with me, I won't give you any more immortal liquid in the future. The immortal immortality peach tree threw a tantrum. All right, let's share it together then. Yang Wu hesitated for a moment before deciding to absorb a portion of the mother chi. This was because the immortal root also desired this power. Thus, Yang Wu began to refine a portion of the heaven and earth source chi. When the source chi of heaven and earth entered his body, he felt his body sublimate a lot. The vitality of his limbs and internal organs became incomparably active. The immortal immortality peach tree hurriedly devoured the heaven and earth source chi. The immortal root was not slow either. Hey, don't steal my power. The immortal immortality peach tree said unhappily. How could the immortal root be polite? Ever since it had acquired Ji Ling's spirit divinity, it had grown much stronger. If it could get more of the origin energy of heaven and earth, it would grow even stronger. Half of the source chi of heaven and earth was divided by the two of them. Yang Wu also benefited from this. His vitality doubled, and with his current lifespan, he was comparable to a top-tier immortal. Which Saint Realm creature could do something like this? Moreover, his power had also increased. He had reached the peak of the 11th level of the astral pattern realm, and he was only half a step away from the 12th level of the astral pattern realm. The immortal immortality tree's growth was also very obvious. It was much taller than before, and it had also grown new branches, a few more leaves, and a lot more immortal liquid. Yang Wu thought to himself, if I can obtain the source chi of heaven and earth there in the next instant, Yang Wu was thrown out of the All Saints Palace. If you want to go to the immortal realm within 3 years, you can teleport there with a single thought. After 3 years, it will be ineffective. The spirit of the realm core's voice rang out. It paused for a moment before emphasizing, don't even think about using the power of the realm core. Otherwise, you will be mercilessly killed. Yang Wu smiled bitterly. Yes, I won't think about it. He had forgotten that the spirit of the realm core could sense all of his thoughts here. It was already being merciful by not killing him. At this moment, Yang Wu discovered that he had returned to the third level of the last world. He didn't think about what had happened here anymore, and he flew toward the Jiang clan's territory. With his current strength, ordinary immortal rank beings wouldn't be a threat to him. He could do whatever he wanted on this level. Yang Wu noticed that the power of this world was much denser than before. Looking at any plant, it was thriving. It felt completely different from before. He didn't think too much and quickly arrived at the Jiang clan's territory. Before this, no one was allowed to approach the Jiang clan's land, not even Yang Wu. But now it was different. Yang Wu had become a hero of the transcendent world. No matter where he went, he would be respected. Moreover, he had formed a friendship with the Jiang clan and was an honored guest of the Jiang clan. When Yang Wu appeared, the Jiang clan's patriarch, Jiang Teng, sensed it. He rushed out and cupped his hands with a smile. "Welcome back, #1 saint in the world." The Jiang clan's people were all alarmed. They rushed out one by one and looked at the returning Yang Wu. Then they cheered. "Welcome back, #1 saint in the world. Welcome back, #1 saint in the world." The Jiang clan still retained their purest character. They worshipped the strong incomparably and respected them. Yang Wu wasn't a member of their Jiang clan, but they were happy and proud for him, because he was their clan's honored guest. Moreover, Yang Wu was also Jiang Lu's master. With this layer of relationship, they respected Yang Wu even more. Yang Wu smiled and said, "Greetings, Patriarch Jiang and everyone. You all think too highly of me. You don't need to be modest. This is something publicly acknowledged by the All Saints Temple. It's definitely not a praise, but a well-deserved reputation." Jiang Teng said seriously. After a pause, he said, "Please enter the clan. We'll hold a celebration for you." "There's no need for this. Actually, I just came to say goodbye to you and then go back. What's the rush? Since you're here, how can we let you go back like this? Who knows when we'll see you again?" Jiang Teng didn't allow any explanation and pulled Yang Wu into the clan. Sure enough, everyone from the Jiang clan quickly gathered in an open space. They began to play ancient music, play happy flutes, and dance. They used this method to welcome Yang Wu's return. There were many spirit springs and spirit fruits placed on the table. Yang Wu sat beside Jiang Teng. There were even divine level items placed on the table for him to enjoy. This was definitely the highest standard of hospitality. Yang Wu felt the Jiang clan's enthusiasm and also celebrated with them. As a result, many of the Jiang clan's women kept toasting him. They kept coming over, which made him feel very uncomfortable. These women were incomparably bold and unrestrained. Their passionate love couldn't be concealed at all. The other Jiang clan's men were also happy to see this. Not only did they not interfere, they even encouraged whoever took down Yang Wu would receive a rich reward. This also caused the Jiang clan's women to stick to Yang Wu like madmen. It wasn't the first time Yang Wu faced such a scene, but it was definitely the first time he encountered such passion. The other party's ample bosom kept squeezing him, causing him to almost have a nosebleed. Fortunately, his willpower was outstanding, and he managed to muddle through in the end. If it was another man, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to control himself. I'm really a Buddhist person. Yang Wu thought to himself. If the outside world saw him like this, they would definitely scold. "Lu Xiaohui, you've lost all the face of us men." The celebration would continue for several days. Yang Wu didn't have that much time. He met up with his in-name disciple Jiang Lu again. Jiang Lu had grown a lot taller. His body was surrounded by a fiery aura. He already looked like a very outstanding big boy. He respectfully knelt down towards Yang Wu. Disciple greets Master. Master is testing whether you've improved in this period of time. Yang Wu responded and tested Jiang Lu's situation. Jiang Lu indeed didn't disappoint him. He could already refine pretty good medicinal pills and had a better understanding of medicinal theory. The only thing he lacked was that he was still young and couldn't control some details. His talent made even Yang Wu feel ashamed of his inferiority. Yang Wu believed that Jiang Lu would definitely become an outstanding alchemist in the future. Yang Wu also taught Jiang Lu some alchemy techniques and gave him some resources to ensure that Jiang Lu's future alchemy path would be smoother. Jiang Lu deeply remembered each of Yang Wu's words and also remembered Yang Wu's appearance. If there was a chance in the future, he wanted to go to the place where his master lived and see how his master grew. His master was a god in his heart. After Yang Wu finished all of this and received a huge gift from Jiang Tong, he prepared to leave. Yang Wu didn't reject Jiang Tong's gift. In the third layer of the last realm, resources were the most abundant. They didn't lack these things. This was also the reward he deserved for refining pills for them before. The Yang clan also urgently needed these resources to strengthen the clan. The final world's 3 layers of space were all isolated. Each layer required a powerful force to be able to break through. The Jiang clan's people could open these channels for Yang Wu, but Yang Wu didn't let them do so. He had a way to go out directly. The Jiang clan's people were puzzled. Without absolute power, this spatial barrier couldn't be broken through. Yang Wu displayed a void shuttling technique in front of them and directly entered the second layer from the third layer. The last realm's space was isolated, but the spatial barrier wasn't as thick as imagined. As long as there was a spatial crack, he could pass through it. This was the profoundness of the void shuttling technique. As Yang Wu's strength grew, the void shuttling ability would naturally strengthen along with it. Soon, he returned to the first layer of the last realm and saw the 2 brothers Gobi and Gu-Er again. Chapter 1592. Gobi and Gore were the elites of the Cyclops tribe, and their battle prowess was not inferior to demigods. When Yang Wu went to the second layer of the last realm, he left them with Chao Jifei to protect her. Now, both the Martial Sage Assembly and the Thousand Saints Assembly had ended. The creatures of the outside world had all left. Gobi and Gore could only stay in the first layer, as they had no way of leaving. The reason why the last realm was separated from the transcendent realm was to preserve some primitive realms and resources for the transcendent realm. If the outside world did not have them, there would still be some here in the future. It could be said that the last realm was the transcendent realm's last hope, and the Jiang clan was also recognized as the flame of hope by the human race. With them here, the transcendent realm's human race still had room to stand. If they were not here, there would be almost no one who could fight with the creatures of the other realms. Now, Yang Wu had completely changed the transcendent realm situation. Therefore, the transcendent realm recognized him as a legendary hero, and this was definitely not an exaggeration. Even the Overlord-class Empyrean experts were no match for him. Yang Wu came to the Cyclops tribe's territory, and the Cyclops all bowed to him. The transcendent realm benefited, and so did the last realm. They had to show him respect. Lord First Sage, you must take us to the outside world, Gobi said expectantly. Gore also knelt and said, Yes, we're about to die of boredom in this place. You promised us that you would take us out to see it. The way they addressed Yang Wu changed, and their attitude became more respectful. Yang Wu smiled and said, As long as your chief agrees, I have no objections. After a pause, he said, The outside world isn't as good as you think, so don't expect too much. The Cyclops chief said, Let them go out. Our tribe has been staying in this place for a long time, and we really don't have much of a future. Moreover, it won't be long before the first layer of the last realm connects to the outside world, and we'll be able to come and go freely. Letting them go out to see it in advance is a good thing. Since the Cyclops chief had said so, Yang Wu didn't have any objections. With these 2 guards, they could really scare people and act cool. However, it would not be easy to bring them out of this place. He could use the void traversal technique to leave, but how could he bring the 2 of them with him? Yang Wu felt that it was necessary to contact the Guardian. He brought the 2 Cyclopes to the spatial barrier wall and took the lead to travel out. The Guardian was already waiting for Yang Wu outside. When Yang Wu came out, the Guardian immediately bowed to Yang Wu and said, Greetings, Master. Yang Wu was stunned and asked, What did you call me? Master, from now on, you are Deng Sen's master. The Guardian said solemnly, Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Yang Wu was stunned. You became our human world's #1 saint and brought a lot of resources to the Transcendent Realm. The Transcendent Realm is already advancing to an intermediate realm, and in less than 100 years, it will definitely become an advanced realm. Many powerful creatures will appear, and all the creatures in the transcendent realm will be grateful to you. As the transcendent realm's guardian, it is natural for me to take you as my master. Deng's son explained. Yang Wu's mind couldn't wrap itself around this. In the All Saints Palace, the spirit of the realm core wanted him to be the human world's guardian, but the transcendent realm's guardian wanted him to be his master. What did this have to do with anything? Without waiting for Yang Wu to think clearly, Deng's son said, "Our transcendent realm has always been a low-level realm, and we are lacking in all kinds of resources. The number of experts that can appear is limited, and because of this, the lifespan of all living creatures is greatly affected. Master obtained the title of the number 1 saint in the human world, broke all the records in the transcendent realm, and became the number 1 person in the transcendent realm. The fate of the transcendent realm is already invisibly linked to you, so as long as you want it, you can get it. And I am the transcendent realm's guardian, and my fate has long been one with the transcendent realm. It is natural for me to take you as my master, so you don't need to feel burdened. Furthermore, by becoming your servant, I will only help you do things that are beneficial to the transcendent realm. I can also help you become stronger, but I will not help your family deal with all kinds of trivial matters. At the same time, I will protect you, and no living creature in the transcendent realm will be able to harm you until you become the strongest expert in the transcendent realm. The general meaning is you will only protect me and help me, and won't do anything else, right?" Yang Wu asked back. "Yes, that's about it," Deng's son said indifferently. "Oh, then forget it. You can continue to be a guardian. There are still many things in the transcendent realm that require your attention, so you don't have to worry too much about my matters." Yang Wu rejected. A guardian was definitely one of the strongest in the transcendent realm, and was not inferior to an invincible expert like his master. Yang Wu had rejected a super expert just like that. Deng's son was dumbfounded. What kind of person was he? He had taken the initiative to follow Yang Wu, but he was actually rejected by Yang Wu? He wondered if he had heard wrongly. "Master, why don't you need me? You are still weak, and without my protection, there will still be many people who will deal with you, wanting to steal your luck, especially the living creatures from other realms. You have become the world's greatest sage, the chosen one, so they won't let you off so easily," Deng's son said again. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, "There are still people who dare to come to the transcendent realm to find trouble with me. There's nothing to be afraid of. You have become the chosen one, and the transcendent realm's luck has increased, which means that the other realm's luck has shrunk. They definitely won't want to see this happen, so as long as they kill you, the transcendent realm's luck will return to their realms," Deng's son explained. Only then did Yang Wu realize that becoming the chosen one didn't seem to be a particularly good thing. Instead, it had caused trouble for him. It's not easy for the living creatures from other realms to come to the transcendent realm, right? Yang Wu asked back. Deng Xin said again, "It's not easy, but it's not as hard as you imagine. There will always be some people who can do it. And let's talk about it after they do it. With you guarding, no matter who comes, you don't have to give me face. Kill them all. Don't be polite." Yang Wu said, pausing for a moment, he said again, "I want to bring 2 giants out from the end realm space. You open a spatial gate." "All right." Deng Sun was stunned for a moment, then immediately did as Yang Wu said. He was guarding this space, so it was not difficult to open a spatial gate. Yang Wu once again entered the end realm space, then brought out the 2 giants. Yang Wu sat on the desert, looked at Deng Sun, and said, "Guardian, the heavy responsibility of continuing to guard the transcendent realm will be handed to you. If there's anything you need help with, feel free to find me. However, I will be leaving in 3 years, so I probably won't be able to help you much." That's right. Yang Wu decided to head to the divine realm in 3 years. Not only because of Ziyu, but also because of Yang Wan and Little He. He must find their whereabouts. And he also wanted to experience how powerful the life forms of the divine realm were. He also had the heart of a hero. It was just that. How should he tell his family about this matter? This time, he might not know when he would return, or even not return at all. His heart was so conflicted and uncomfortable. He wanted to find a way to satisfy both sides, thinking whether there was a way to go back and forth between the two realms. Once a life form went to the divine realm, wanting to return was too difficult. He was the heaven's chosen one, so would there be special treatment? Before this, he still had to prepare the Void Grand Array. With the Void Grand Array, it should not be difficult for him to return in the future. The human realm was the foundation of a human race. Yang Wu brought the two giants with him on his journey. This was too ostentatious. He wanted to make them smaller, but they could only be bigger, not smaller. They were born like this. Helplessly, he could only move forward in this ostentatious manner. The two of them were too huge, and wherever they went, many life forms were frightened. When these life forms saw Yang Wu, they immediately calmed down and shouted, "Welcome back, First Sage. Welcome back, First Sage." Yang Wu's matter had already spread to the transcendent world. People like Sun Do and Lu Ji had returned a year earlier than Yang Wu, and news about him had already spread from Lu Ji. Yang Wu had become a superhero, and he deserved it. Yang Wu was surrounded by many life forms, and it affected his journey too much. He could not help but think, it would be great if I could bring the two of them back to the family. Just as he was thinking this, a will suddenly descended on him, and directly brought him and the two giants back to the Yang family's territory. When Yang Wu came back to his senses, he had already appeared outside the Yang family city. What's going on here? Gobi jumped in fright and said, "The outside world is indeed full of mysteries," Gorse said from the side. Yang Wu also felt that it was very magical. He closed his eyes and felt the power of the will of heaven and earth. It seemed to be incomparably close to him, and when he felt the changes in heaven and earth, he seemed to understand something. I see. Yang Wu came to a realization. The transcendent world had leveled up because of him, and it had obtained more resources. He was the chosen one, chosen by the spirit of the realm core, and he had also walked out of the transcendent world. There was an inexplicable relationship between the two. This feeling was like the spirit of the realm core had chosen him as the chosen one and made him its guardian. The transcendent world had tacitly agreed with everything Yang Wu had done and recognized Yang Wu as half its master. Therefore, he had a connection with the will of the transcendent world. As long as he was in the transcendent world, he could directly teleport anywhere he wanted. It could be said that he had already become half a god in the transcendent world and had some unique abilities. This was definitely a great gain. The two Cyclops appeared outside the Yang family city and instantly attracted the attention of the Yang family. Where did the two giants come from? They look so scary. Look, is the one on the giant's shoulder the patriarch? Yes, it seems to be the patriarch. The patriarch has returned. The patriarch has returned. What? The patriarch has returned. Let's quickly go out of the city to welcome him. Quick, I want to see the patriarch. My God, I saw the patriarch. I saw the #1 saint in the world. I'm so lucky, so lucky. Not only the people of the Yang family, but even the people outside the Yang family went crazy when they knew that Yang Wu had returned. Yang Wu's deeds had already spread throughout the world, and the spirit of the realm core had announced it to the world. Many creatures had already rushed to the Yang family's city to wait. They had to see Yang Wu, or take a look at the place where Yang Wu had stayed. This was a unique, legendary hero, worthy of their respect and worship. Therefore, in the year that Yang Wu had been cultivating, the Yang family city had doubled in size. It was still not enough. Chapter 1593. With Yang Wu's return, the Yang family celebrated again. Yang Wu could not bring the two giants back to the family, so he could only let them go to the mountains behind the Yang family and stay with the Crow clan. They were too ostentatious and could not go anywhere, so it was better to let them stay in the Yang family. After Yang Wu greeted everyone, he went back to the family. He did not have the time to entertain them one by one. These people looked at him with fanatical gazes. He was afraid that he would be drowned by their enthusiasm. After returning to the family, the people in the family were just as enthusiastic, cheering for him nonstop. They knelt on the ground to welcome his return. Get up, don't be so excited, it's no big deal. Yang Wu looked at these people and comforted them, not wanting to see them lose their composure. How could they not be excited? The first saint in the world came from their Yang family. This was the most glorious event in history. How could they be calm? Patriarch, you are the pride of our Yang family. Let us bask in your saint chi. An old saint knelt and said. Another person said, That's right, Patriarch. You don't have to worry about us. Our Yang family has gone through 10,000 years of ups and downs, persevering until today to rise again. You have done a great job. The entire clan is grateful to you. Just let us properly worship you. Patriarch, we want to set up an immortal monument for you, so that the future generations will respect you and see you as a role model. The entire Yang family, from top to bottom, worshipped Yang Wu to the point of prostrating themselves before him. They no longer knew how to express their feelings. Yang Wu's monument statue had been built long ago. It was placed in the family's important place, accepting everyone's worship. Such a monument statue. Only Yang Wu could receive such treatment. Even Gong Xilan, the great-grandmother who had contributed a lot to the Yang family, did not receive such treatment. And this monument was actually Gong Xilan's suggestion. The entire family approved. No one had any objections. Yang Wu looked at his monument, speechless. He was still young. How could he bear the worship of the family? Gong Xilan appeared beside him and said, Patriarch, please brand the monument statue. Clan leader, please imprint the monument statue. The entire clan called out in unison. Yang Wu had no choice but to follow the will of the people. Yang Wu looked at the monument, closed his eyes, and murmured, Since it is my monument statue, I will give it my will power and let it protect my family for me. In the next moment, his will of soul appeared and moved toward the monument. He cut his wrist and dripped his blood essence onto the monument. As he did so, the transcendental world's willpower seemed to have sensed it. Wind, clouds, rain, and thunder came. All sorts of strange phenomena appeared at the same time and fell on the monument statue. After the monument statue received the baptism of this power and fused with Yang Wu's soul, will, and blood, it seemed to have come alive. It emitted a powerful force that enveloped the Yang family's territory. Even the war race far away could feel it. Greetings to the Patriarch. May the Patriarch be blessed. The entire Yang family knelt and chanted again. At this moment, even Gong Xilan had to bow slightly. It was as if Yang Wu was the god of this world in front of her, and even his grandmother had to bow. A surge of power descended upon the Yang clan. Everything in the Yang clan instantly changed. Some people instantly comprehended the martial Tao. Some immediately broke through to the next realm, and some immediately became a saint. Purple chi filled the sky and rose from the ground. The momentum was unstoppable. The monument statue seemed to have the help of the gods and became lifelike. Yang Wu also formed a connection with it, as if he could borrow it to sense everything in the family. Many thanks. Yang Wu expressed his gratitude to the transcendental world's willpower. After the monument statue received the transcendental world's willpower, it was equivalent to receiving the protection of the transcendental world's willpower. Moreover, it was connected with his mind, and it was equivalent to a powerful god guarding here. Whoever dared to be disrespectful to the Yang family, this statue could completely use the transcendental world's willpower to kill them. Even if it was an overlord-level expert, they would not be able to return alive. After doing all this, Yang Wu and Gong Xilan went to the forbidden area in the backyard. Wu-er, are you going to the divine realm next? Gong Xilan asked. Yang Wu replied in a deep voice, I don't really want to go. This was Yang Wu's inner voice. He really didn't want to go. Why? Gong Xilan asked. Because my family, lovers, and friends are here, Yang Wu said with emotion. He was a person who valued friendship and righteousness. He was extremely reluctant to abandon everything here and go to the divine realm. You are a good child, but your future is incomparably bright. Even if you leave, great-grandmother will still take care of this family, so you could be assured. Gong Xilan replied. After pausing for a bit, she then said, But before you leave, you must leave behind a descendant for the family. Yang Wu never thought that Gong Xilan would suddenly change the topic. He didn't know what to say. Xie Tian still hadn't returned to the family. so he was too incompetent as a father. If he left behind a descendant and he wasn't by his side, he would be too irresponsible. Yang Wu hesitated for a bit, but he still told Gong Xilan about Xie Tian. When the divine mathematician came to the Yang family, Gong Xilan already knew that he had a child. Now that he told her about Xie Tian's situation, he could avoid some trouble in the future. After Gong Xilan heard this, her face revealed a trace of worry. Could it be that the child really became bad like the divine mathematician said? I don't know if he became bad or not. I only know that he's my son, so I won't allow anyone to hurt him, Yang Wu said in a serious voice. After pausing for a bit, he then said, he and Rebirth are natural enemies. I hope that when Rebirth recovers his memories, great-grandmother can help me persuade him to not make things hard for Xie Tian. They are more suited to be brothers. I know my limits on this matter. Let's talk about your future plans. You have become the world's #1 saint, and the divine mathematician building has already expressed their willingness to become allies with our Yang family. There are many other powers that have come to form an alliance with us. Other than the divine mathematician building's good intentions, I haven't accepted anyone else yet. I'll wait for you to make the decision. I will take a month to straighten out these matters. It is time for our Yang family to show off our might. Yang Wu returned. The transcendent world was filled with excitement. Various large and small powers, whether they had relations with the Yang family or not, sent envoys to congratulate them. At the same time, they wanted to become allies with the Yang family. There were also many powers that sent their saintesses or princesses to propose marriage to see if they could move Yang Wu. If they couldn't move Yang Wu, then they would marry other members of the Yang family and try their best to form a relationship with Yang Wu. For a while, the Yang family city was filled with people. Even if the Yang family city had doubled in size, it was still filled with people. It could be imagined how many people wanted to see Yang Wu and form a relationship with the Yang family. Yang Wu had become the heaven's chosen son and obtained the approval of the transcendent world. Those people that cursed Yang Wu had been punished by the heavens. Even heaven-reaching old monster had died. Who dared to go against the will of the transcendent world, and who didn't dare to acknowledge Yang Wu? As long as they had a good relationship with Yang Wu, they would be able to obtain more benefits. Otherwise, nothing would have much to do with them. Yang Wu asked Lu Ji and Peng Yuan to come up with a plan to deal with the current situation. No matter how big or small these powers were, he didn't want any trouble. At his current position, he didn't want to offend anyone, nor was he afraid of offending anyone. He only wanted to send them away smoothly. Lu Ji and Peng Yuan, the two great strategists, had already come up with a contingency plan. They had Gong Xilan, the heaven-reaching expert, and many saints. They had jointly created a small space where only the envoys of first-rate powers were qualified to enter. Furthermore, the number of people they would receive every day was fixed. It wouldn't exceed 10 people, and they would only receive 100 people in the end. Of course, this excluded the major powers. The reason why they had set a limit was mainly because there were too many powers and they couldn't take care of so many. Furthermore, the top 100 would depend on whether the other party cherished the opportunity and whether they were sincere. If they didn't cherish it, they wouldn't have any sincerity. No matter how many powers they received, it would be meaningless. In addition, it wasn't that they didn't care about the other powers that weren't in the top 100. Instead, they sent out other powers to receive them. If there were any powers that were worth forming an alliance with, they could also keep them. In the end, they would judge which powers were worth forming a deep relationship with the Yang family, and which ones weren't. Only then would they make the final decision. Now, it was the Yang family who chose their allies, not others who chose them as allies. It was completely different. With these two great strategists, the Yang family dealt with things quickly. First, they arranged for a powerful team to intimidate those powers that wanted to cause trouble. Then, they let the two Cyclops show their faces and made them the left and right protectors of the Yang family city. There were also a few demon gods that Xiu Long brought out from the medicine god palace. This was enough to make many people tremble in fear. In addition, Yang Wu also showed his hand personally. His powerful spirit covered every corner of the Yang family city. allowing all living beings to clearly feel his pressure. He said faintly, "I am Yangwu. Welcome to the Yang family city. Thank you for giving me face. I hope that everyone will be friends of the Yang family in the future." After saying this, he disappeared. Under the arrangements of Lu Ji and Peng Yuan, Yang Wu approached some of the envoys one after another. He received the gifts they offered and chatted with them about some matters. The general idea was that they wanted to form an alliance with the Yang family or cooperate with the Yang family. In short, they wanted to have some relationship with the Yang family. Because of their relationship with Yang Wu, the Yang family had received the favor of the will of the transcendent realm. They would definitely welcome a period of rapid development. Even if they couldn't eat the meat, they still wanted to drink some soup. In the third wave of people that Yang Wu received, Yang Wu saw the Li family's envoy. His face was filled with amusement. "Greetings, Patriarch Yang Wu. You are the pride of our battle tribe. We are proud of you." Chapter 1594. The messenger sent by the Li clan was Yang Qingxing's brother-in-law, Li Wenfeng, who is also the younger brother of the Li clan leader. Li Wenfeng represented the Xing clan to persuade the Yang clan to release the Xing clan's prisoners. In the end, Li Wenfeng suffered a double loss. After returning to the Li clan, he had been depressed. With the rise of Yang Wu, the Li clan withdrew from the alliance with the Xing clan and wanted to form a new alliance with the Yang clan. This time, Li Wenfeng came to the Yang clan with an important task. If he could obtain the Yang clan's forgiveness and form a new alliance with the Li clan, it would be a great achievement. After Li Wenfeng saw Yang Wu, he frantically flattered him, saying good things about Yang Wu. It could be said that he had already thrown his face aside. Yang Wu had a slight impression of Li Wenfeng, but it was not very deep. It was only after Lu Ji and Peng Yuan mentioned him that he remembered some things. After all, the Yang and Li clans had formed a new alliance. It was not impossible to give the Li clan another chance. However, when Yang Wu saw Li Wenfeng, he did not give him any face and shouted, "Your Li clan still has the face to come to my Yang clan. Drag him out and behead him." In the past, the Yang clan and the Li clan formed an alliance. The Yang clan was forced to give a city to the Li clan. It was called Returning Li City. Many years ago, the Yang clan expanded again. Yu Chong led a team to take back the city and renamed it Chong and City. It was time to settle the debts that the Li clan forced on the Yang clan. Li Wenfeng was scared to the point of peeing by Yang Wu. His legs went soft, and he fell to the ground. He cried, "Yang Wu clan leader, please spare my life. Clan leader Yang Wu, please spare my life. I am here to ask for an alliance." "Humph. Do you think our Yang clan wants to form an alliance with your clan?" Yang Wu snorted unhappily. He then said, "Quickly drag him out and behead him." "Yes, clan leader." Yang Ba and Su Chu, the two door gods, stood up and walked towards Li Wenfeng. Li Wenfeng knelt down and kowtowed. "Patriarch Yang Wu, please listen to me. Our Li family is willing to cede 2 cities, give you 10 holy veins, 3 holy veins, and 5 mineral veins in the world of fighting. Please forgive us. Please don't kill me. Just treat me as a fart and let me go." Li Wenfeng regretted it. He knew it was not a clan leader, but he did not expect it. If he had known that he would lose his head, even if he had 10 times the courage, he would not have come as an emissary. When Lu Ji and Peng Yuan, who were below Yang Wu, heard Li Wenfeng's words, a faint smile appeared on their faces. They now knew how sincere the Li family was. Peng Yuan stood up and said, "Clan leader, please calm down. I see that the Li family has come with sincerity. Why don't we hear how sincere they are before making a decision?" Lu Ji said, "That's right. After all, the Li clan and the Yang clan are both battle clans. Give them a chance." Yes. Our battle clans have always been united against the demon race. Please, since we are all from the same clan, spare my dog life. Clan leader Yang Wu, if you have any other requests, we will do our best to fulfill them." Li Wenfeng hurriedly said. Yang Wu muttered, "Your Li clan is a traitor. First, you betrayed the Yang clan. Then, you betrayed the Xing clan. Now, you want to form an alliance with the Yang clan. I don't know what's the use of keeping people like you. It's useful. In the future, Our Li clan will follow the Yang clan's lead. Since you said so, I will give you a chance. Go back and tell your Li clan that if you want our forgiveness, you will have to submit to the Yang clan. Don't even think about being on equal footing. You don't have the qualifications. If you don't agree, it's fine. Bear the consequences yourself. Yang Wu declared. Whether it's true or not, I will definitely pass on your words to the clan. Li Wenfeng hurriedly nodded. Then, he wanted to leave this place. He thought that as long as he could leave this place and live, he would run as far as he could. He didn't want to participate in the conflict between the two clans. Wait, did we allow you to leave? Take him down and capture his soul. Then, let him go back and report. Yes, clan leader. No. Li Wenfeng's fate was obvious. How could it be so easy for him to escape? Most of his soul was controlled by the Yang clan. Only a small part of his soul was left to control his body and return to the Li clan to report. After the Li clan learned of Yang Wu's request, they were incomparably furious. The Li clan's Tan Tian slapped Li Wenfeng to death on the spot. When the Yang clan saw Li Wenfeng's soul dissipate, they knew the Li clan's decision. They weren't willing to submit to the Yang clan. Yang Wu sneered. It won't be long before the 8 great battle clans become the 5 great clans. In his heart, the Xing, Lu, and Li clans had to be destroyed. However, although he had obtained the recognition of the transcendent world's will, it didn't mean that he could punish them on behalf of the heavens. He wasn't so arrogant that he could easily destroy these 3 clans. He still needed some time to plan. He would borrow the power of the transcendent worlds to increase the Yang clan's combat strength. Then, he would ask for allies to join forces to deal with these 3 clans. It wouldn't be difficult. It would depend on the Xianyuan clan's attitude. Not long after, Yang Wu received the emissary from the Purple Firmament Hall. Originally, he didn't want to receive the emissary from the Purple Firmament Hall. However, after learning the emissary's name, he had no choice but to receive them. The Purple Firmament Hall sent a total of 3 emissaries. They were Yu Yu's parents, Zi Suzhong, Wei Jingru, and Zi Yu's former maidservant, Zi Qi. Yang Wu had a good impression of Zi Suzhong. Unfortunately, he was a little henpecked and didn't have much status in the Purple Firmament Hall. If it wasn't for his daughter, he wouldn't have the glory he had today. This included Wei Jingru. This woman was rather snobbish. She used to be quite glorious in the Purple Firmament Hall because of her daughter. She treated the servants rather harshly, but warmly fawned over the people above her. Back then, she didn't know that Yang Wu was already a divine apothecary. She also spoke sarcastically to Yang Wu and didn't think much of him. As for Zi Qi, she was no longer Yu Yu's maidservant. After Zi Yu went to the God Realm, she became Zi Suzhong's and Wei Jingru's adopted daughter. She received a lot of cultivation resources from the Purple Firmament Hall. Her cultivation talent wasn't low either. She could be considered to have some fame in the Purple Firmament Hall. Compared to the past, Zi Qi was indeed a lot more beautiful. In addition, she was also wearing gorgeous clothes and beautiful accessories. She looked like a rich young lady. When she saw Yang Wu, her beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of infatuation. When they were in the Transcendent Realm, she actually didn't have a good impression of this Viscount. He was too mischievous and didn't look very good. Now that they met again after so many years, Yang Wu had changed a lot. His appearance and temperament were completely different from before. It was said that a woman changes 18 times between childhood and womanhood. This saying was very suitable for Yang Wu. Every time she saw him, he would change. Moreover, he changed for the better. It was very fascinating. When Zi Suzhong and Wei Jingru saw Yang Wu again, the former more or less had a trace of embarrassment on his face. The latter, on the other hand, had an unknown smile on her face. It was as if she didn't come here to curry favor with Yang Wu. Instead, she came here to give Yang Wu charity. Without waiting for Yang Wu to speak, Wei Jingru opened her mouth and said, "Patriarch Yang Wu, we meet again. This time, we're here to talk about marriage with you. Last time, you made a scene in our Purple Cloud Palace, and everyone saw it. You are good to my daughter, but unfortunately, she is destined to go to the divine realm. She is not destined to be with you, and I believe that you will not force her. However, our Purple Cloud Palace will not care about the past, and I plan to let my adopted daughter, Ziki, marry you. You don't have to feel embarrassed. If Yuan knows about this, she will also feel happy for you. After all, she also liked you before, and Ziki is her sister. If you two can be together, it will be a true match made in heaven. Yang Wu glanced at Wei Jingru before turning his gaze to Zi Suzhong. He smiled and said, Uncle Suzhong, long time no see. How are you? Zi Suzhong was a little embarrassed and said, I'm fine. How about you? After saying this, he couldn't help but slap himself. Yang Wu was the world's greatest saint. How could he not be fine? The Purple Firmament Palace had sent them as envoys to persuade Yang Wu to let bygones be bygones. They wanted to facilitate a marriage between the two families and let bygones be bygones. The current Yang Wu could be said to be extremely popular. Amen, I'm fine too, Yang Wu replied softly. This time, Zi Suzhong was stunned and didn't know what to say. Wei Jingru glared at her husband and transmitted her voice, Idiot, get to the point. Zi Suzhong came back to his senses and rubbed his hands together as he said to Yang Wu, What do you think of Jingru's suggestion? Our Purple Firmament Palace really does want to let bygones be bygones. Although this child, Zi Qi, has a bit of a temper, she is still a decent person. When Wei Jingru and Zi Qi heard Zi Suzhong's words, their expressions turned ugly. What did he mean by Zi Qi having a bit of temper? How could he introduce someone like that? No matter how modest he was, he couldn't do this. Yang Wu nodded lightly and said, Amen, Uncle Suzhong's words are reasonable. Then he said loudly to Su Chu, Su Chu, I'll bestow a marriage upon you. Are you willing? Su Chu stepped forward and replied, I'll follow the clan leader's orders. All right, this is my Uncle Suzhong's adopted daughter. For his sake, I'll pull some strings for the two of you to get married. Are you willing? Yang Wu asked again. Su Chu didn't even look at Zi Qi. He knelt on one knee and said, Even if the clan leader wants me to marry a sow as my wife, Su Chu won't have any objections. This time, Zi Qi's face completely darkened. She cursed in her heart. You're the pig. Your whole family are pigs. She really wanted to curse out loud, but she didn't dare to. This was Yang Wu's territory. She didn't want to die yet. This time, Wei Jingru couldn't take it anymore. She jumped out and said, Yang Wu, you're wrong. We want to marry Zi Qi to you, not marry her to your subordinate. He's not my subordinate, but my brother. Could it be that you think my brother isn't worthy of her? Yang Wu asked coldly. She's our adopted daughter, Yu Yu's sister, and the direct disciple of the Purple Firmament Hall's holy elder. Wei Jingru jabbered on. Without waiting for her to finish, Yang Wu interrupted her and said, My brother is a martial saint. So what if he's a martial saint? He's still a servant. Wei Jingru said straightforwardly. An invisible palm slapped towards her face, causing her face to swell on the spot. She screamed in pain. If you dare to look down on my brother again, I'll kill you even if you're Yu Yu's mother. Chapter 1595. Zi Suzhong, Wei Jingru, and Zi Qi were chased out. If it wasn't for Zi Yu, Yang Wu wouldn't have let them off so easily. Did an insensible mother-in-law think that he didn't dare to hit her? With Yang Wu's status, the Purple Firmament Hall still dared to play such tricks. They really didn't know how to improve. However, after the three of them were chased out, Lei Yaoxian personally came. Yang Wu and Lei Yaoxian had a conversation before at the Thunder Mountains. This time, Yang Wu still gave him face and chatted with him again. The Purple Firmament Hall had stood in the Transcendent Realm for many years and had connections with the God Realm. The Transcendent Realm's willpower had a limited effect on them. Moreover, they had a strong foundation and wouldn't cause any trouble in a short period of time. Yang Wu had just become the #1 martial sage in the world, but it didn't mean that he could look down on any power. After Lei Yaoxian saw Yang Wu, he went straight to the point and said, Yang Wu, if you go to the God Realm, you can join my Purple Firmament Hall. The God Spirit of my Purple Firmament Hall has spoken. As long as you join our Purple Firmament Hall, you can obtain enough cultivation resources and become a candidate to be groomed as a son of God. Moreover, you can also reunite with Yu Yu. It had to be said that Lei Yaoxuan's straightforward words surprised Yang Wu. The purple firmament hall of the god realm had thrown an olive branch to him. It seems that the chosen one's influence is very big. Yang Wu sighed in his heart. After a pause, he said, "Can I let you be with me?" He and you had already bowed to the heavens and earth and were husband and wife. Even without their parents as witnesses, they had already regarded each other as their closest companions. Lei Yaoxian revealed an unnatural expression and said, "Both of you are in the god realm. Being together shouldn't be much of a problem." After a pause, he added, You arrive in the god realm before you. Perhaps she already has other friends and has more choices. I hope that you can set your sights further. There should be many girls more outstanding than you in the god realm. You don't have to keep staring at her. Not only will it affect your own future, but it will also affect hers. Lei Yaoxuan's words were more pertinent. It was indeed for the sake of Yang Wu and Zi Yuyue that he said these words from the bottom of his heart. He was afraid that Yang Wu's temper was still so stubborn. After reaching the divine world, he would get into a conflict with other people because of Zi Yuyue. This would definitely affect the development of their relationship. How could Yang Wu not hear the hidden meaning in Lei Yaoxuan's words? He said in a deep voice, You don't understand the feelings between me and you. Cultivating immortality is the long-cherished wish of people of my generation. However, I would rather cultivate for 100 years and be happy. Although that's the case, that's only the mortal world. When you go to the god realm, perhaps you will have different thoughts. As for the matter between you and you, it will depend on your fate. If your performance is outstanding enough, perhaps the god realm will allow the two of you to be together. Lei Yaoxian said. Then he took out an item and said, This is a token bestowed by the god realm of the purple firmament hall. When you go to the god realm, you can use it to sense the location of the purple firmament hall. It is also the proof of joining the purple firmament hall. This token held great significance. It was something that many of the overlords in the transcendent realm wanted. From their point of view, with this token, it was equivalent to having a protective talisman when they went to the god realm. Their lives would not be in danger. The god realm was powerful. They could meet powerful fellows at any time. Even if they had an overlord's cultivation, it would be hard for them to protect themselves. Only those who had the protection of a powerful force would be safe. Yang Wu did not take the token. He replied, You can leave. The grudge between my Yang family and the Purple Firmament Hall is written off. There is no need for us to have any dealings in the future. Now that Yu had gone to the god realm, he did not want to have anything to do with the Purple Firmament Hall. Of course, if the Purple Firmament Hall wanted to find trouble with him, he would not be easy to bully. Now, with his various trump cards, he could fight one-on-one with overlords. With the protection of the Transcendent Realm's will, he could be said to be in an undefeatable position in the Transcendent Realm. Lei Yaoxian did not expect Yang Wu to reject him so straightforwardly. He opened his mouth to say something, but in the end, he shook his head and left. Yang Wu's personality was too stubborn. After suffering in the god realm, perhaps he would regret what he had done today. Yang Wu met with the 100 representatives of the 100 forces and had a simple chat with them. Some of them reached an alliance agreement, some of them did not, but they could be considered to have formed a good relationship with each other. There were also some that were rejected directly. Yang Wu left the following matters to Lu Ji and Peng Yuan. He wanted to meet with some old friends, such as the Sun family and the Dan family. They were the first allies to support Yang Wu. He had to take some time to meet with them. In addition, because of him, the Mount Hung School had become the leader of the 5 mountains. Mount Song and Mount Tai were willing to respect the Mount Hung School and stop causing trouble. Firstly, the Mount Hung School had the Sword Demon, so they had no chance of snatching the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Secondly, Yang Wu had become the world's #1 martial sage, and he was the son-in-law of the Mount Hung School. If they continued to cause trouble, they would be the ones to suffer. Fortunately, they reacted quickly. If they had been a little later, Yang Wu would definitely have joined forces with the Mount Hung School to settle accounts with them. To deal with forces like Mount Song and Mount Tai, he did not even need the Yang family to take action. He only needed to wave his arm, and a large number of people would be willing to stand up for the Yang family. Today, the Yang family was no longer the same. This time, Shu Yujun and Shu Yujun came together not only to celebrate Yang Wu becoming the world's #1 martial sage, but also to officially let Shu Yujun live in the Yang family. Yang Wu and Shu Yujun had been married for a long time, but she had never lived in the Yang family. This was not only because of Shu Yujun, but also because of Yang Wu. The time was not ripe, and now was the best time. Now, Wan Lanxin was the wife of the Yang family's patriarch, and Shu Yujun had joined in. The Yang family did not know how to address her. Between her and Wan Lanxin, who was the rightful wife of the patriarch, Yang Wu had no way to deal with this matter. The most important person in his heart was still Ziyu, but without her, the family could not go a day without a female head. His feelings for both Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun were equally heavy. If he asked one to be the head of the family, he would offend the other. This was the difficulty of having too many women. Fortunately, there was a great-grandmother in the family, and she personally came out to deal with these two women. It was said that having an elder in the family was like having a treasure. Great-grandmother had been in the Yang family for nearly 10,000 years. What had she not seen? Dealing with these women was child's play to her. Sure enough, after Gong Salon met Wan Lanxin and Shu Yujun at the same time, the relationship between the two women became much more harmonious. They held hands and walked together in the Yang family's land. When the clansmen saw them, they first showed a surprised look, but soon became happy. When Yang Wu saw them coming together, he was also stunned. The two women's current strength was extraordinary, and they were both top-notch saints. Moreover, their temperaments were somewhat similar. If they really wanted to argue about it, they would probably fight. But now, they were like sisters, and this was somewhat unexpected. What are you looking at? Do you think we will fight? Wan Lanxin glanced at Yang Wu and said. She was wearing a blue muslin dress, and her graceful figure was beyond doubt. Her hair was pinned with sparkling and translucent hair ornaments, which made her appear noble and generous. Shu Yujun was wearing a capable, tight martial suit, which set off her full figure and incisively and vividly. In terms of figure, she was sexier than Wan Lanxin, but Wan Lanxin was taller than her. The two women could be said to have their own characteristics. In comparison, the two of them were not as stunning as Yu Yu and Xianyuan Huowu, but they also had their own charm and fragrance. Shu Yujun said with a smile, "My husband is the world's #1 martial saint. Little sister Lanxin, you can't scare him like this. If this were to spread, it would be too embarrassing." Shu Yujun was older than Wan Lanxin, so there was no problem for her to call her that. In fact, the two of them were older than Yang Wu. In their eyes, Yang Wu was a living little fresh meat. One of them had followed Yang Wu wholeheartedly when they were in the mortal world. The other was willing to accompany Yang Wu through life and death when he first came to the transcendent world. The two of them had deep feelings for Yang Wu, and Yang Wu also loved them deeply. Neither of them could give up or abandon each other. Yang Wu touched his nose and said with a smile, "What's there to be embarrassed about? Even if I'm more powerful and can beat all the opponents in the world, I'm still not a match for the two madams." Then he looked up at the dark sky and said, "Madams, it's getting late. Shouldn't we go back and rest?" Between husband and wife, sleeping together at night, this was a matter of course. Now, Yang Wu's two wives were in front of him. He couldn't help but imagine some embarrassing things with the three of them together, which instantly made him feel excited. The two women saw Yang Wu's wretched smile and knew what he was thinking. The two women's faces instantly turned red. "Sister Lan Xin, accompany your husband tonight. I'm still not very familiar with this place." Shu Yujun casually found an excuse and said. Wan Lanxin also felt a little uneasy. She said, "Sister Yujun just arrived. You should let your husband accompany you to familiarize yourself. I won't be accompanying you." After saying that, she wanted to leave by herself. Unexpectedly, Yang Wu grabbed her hand and said, "Lan Xin, don't be anxious. I have something to say to the two of you. Let's drink and talk together tonight. I promise I won't do anything else, okay?" Suddenly, Yang Wu felt that his excuse was really good. It was really good. Drinking wine and talking about love in the boudoir was the most wonderful thing in the world. The two women actually couldn't refuse Yang Wu's suggestion. Their husband had seriously invited them, so how could they not give him face? Just like that, Yang Wu brought the two of them back to the bamboo courtyard. They drank wine and admired the moon together. As they admired the moon, they also hid in the clouds with the bright moon. They were so embarrassed that they didn't want to see anyone else. The spring breeze blew a few times that night, and the sound of the bamboo was unheard. Chapter 1596. Ever since Yang Wu returned to the Yang family, the Yang family's aura grew with each passing day. The aura they gathered became denser and denser. There were clansmen who kept breaking through to new realms, and there were many newborn babies who attracted quite a few strange phenomena. They were all born with the potential to cultivate. This meant that the Yang family's new generation of disciples had outstanding talent. When they grew up, they would be incomparably strong. The Yang family's changes were not only seen by the Yang family. The people of the war race could clearly see it. The powers that had enmity with the Yang family were all panicking. If the Yang family was allowed to continue like this, the Yang family would surpass all of their powers. At that time, they would become a giant power. When that time came, how would they be able to resist them? It was a pity that they couldn't come up with any good countermeasures. After all, Yang Wu was the heaven's chosen son. He had increased the level of the transcendent realm and obtained large amounts of resources. He had increased the living space of all living beings and had done a very amazing thing. They could only wait for Yang Wu to head to the God Realm so that they wouldn't have to be so worried. As for whether Yang Wu would go to the God Realm or not, they would know in 3 years. Would Yang Wu go to the God Realm? At least 99% of the people thought that Yang Wu would definitely go to the God Realm. As the heaven's chosen son, the world's #1 saint, how could he stay in the transcendent realm forever? Only when he went to the God Realm would he have a wider stage to become stronger and become a god of the God Realm. The people of the Yang family also knew that Yang Wu might leave the transcendental realm, so they had been doing their best to increase their strength in the past few years, seizing all sorts of opportunities. Otherwise, if Yang Wu left, the transcendental realms would probably no longer care for their Yang family. When that happened, it would be easy for them to decline. Yang Wu indeed wanted to leave the transcendent realm, but before that, he had to take care of his family and his loved ones. The first thing he had to do was to find his son Xietian. Now that he had obtained the recognition of the transcendent realm's will, he could go anywhere in the transcendent realm in an instant. He could already be considered half a god of the transcendent realm. This kind of ability, only he had it. No one else had this qualification, not even the top overlord-level characters. Otherwise, the guardians of the transcendent world would not want to follow him. Yang Wu communicated with the transcendent world will and told it what Xietian looked like, hoping that it could bring him to Xietian. In the end, the feedback from the transcendent world will was that Xietian was no longer in the transcendent world. Not in the transcendent world anymore. Could it be that he went to the God Realm? He clearly didn't enter the top 1,000. Could it be? Yang Wu muttered to himself. He suspected that Xietian's master came from the God Realm and brought Xietian to the God Realm. As for what exactly happened, he couldn't figure it out. His heart was very depressed, but he still had the transcendent worlds will pay attention. Once they found Xietian, they would bring him over. After that, Yang Wu had the transcendent worlds will sense the whereabouts of the Rose of Death. The Rose of Death was a woman who had helped him in the mortal world. He also had a trace of inexplicable feelings towards her. After all, his Tao of Death was because of her. Before, when the king of Hell's palace used the Rose of Death to lure him in, he didn't go and had Yu Huaijin go save her. In the end, he didn't find her. Now, the transcendent worlds will have found her and directly transferred him over. When Yang Wu appeared in this strange and terrifying place, he was instantly stunned. He suspected that he had come to hell. There were terrifying corpses here, filled with corrosive corpse qi and death qi. Not only were there human corpses, there were also corpses of demons, and other races. There were all kinds of corpses, some complete corpses, some broken corpses, some with only a layer of skin left, and some with only a skeleton left. It was very sinister and terrifying. Even if Yang Wu was used to seeing all kinds of scenes, he still had the urge to vomit when faced with this kind of hell. Other than that, when he saw the bodies of some infants, he was completely enraged. What kind of place is this? Why is it so despicable? Yang Wu secretly cursed in his heart. He came to find the Rose of Death, so he couldn't help wondering if she had met with some kind of accident. Soon, he saw the Rose of Death. She was actually dealing with the corpses here with the other black-clothed people. The people here didn't discover his existence. His position was very hidden, and he had also restrained his aura, so it wasn't that easy to be discovered. After discovering the black-clothed people, Yang Wu paid more attention to hiding his aura. In this unknown place, it was better to be careful. He didn't think that just because he had become the world's greatest sage, he could ignore the creatures of the transcendent world. This was very unlikely. He was sure that this place was convenient for the 100 Hell King Palace's Death Mountain range. Previously, Yu Huijin had investigated this place, and there was a big secret here. At present, Yang Wu didn't have the time to care about the big secret in the Death Mountain range. He only wanted to know what happened to the Rose of Death. He could still feel her aura. She was still alive, but her entire body was filled with death chi, as if she didn't have much life left. Moreover, her every move here was very strange, as if she was a walking corpse that had lost her spirit. It seems like she's being controlled. Yang Wu concluded. He didn't act rashly to save her. Instead, he continued to observe the situation here to see what kind of place it was. After carefully sensing, he found that every corpse here was arranged according to a formation. In the center of the many corpses, there was a huge blood pit, which seemed to be nurturing some kind of special life form. Yang Wu couldn't help but think of the situation in the mountain prison. There was also a blood pit that locked Wang Jiucheng in, and at the same time, nurtured the prenatal mysterious essence chi. However, the blood pit in front of him was many times bigger than the one in a mountain prison. Moreover, there were countless times more corpses, and their levels were very high. The Rose of Death and the black-clothed people were busy arranging the corpses. The corpses seemed to have fallen from the sky. Occasionally, piles of corpses would fly over, forming a mountain of corpses. Very quickly, the black-clothed people separated and organized them. Everything was carried out around the deep pit. Yang Wu opened his soul and looked at the deep pit. He suddenly found that there was a huge shadow floating in the deep pit, as if it was nurturing a peerless demon. Its demonic aura was incomparably shocking, and its aura was equally shocking. He seemed to see countless living beings crying and wailing. Their lives were being mercilessly devoured one by one. It was a true, peerless demon. Yang Wu's heart beat rapidly as he secretly thought, "This is a true demon." He couldn't help thinking of the divination of the divine mathematician. The divine fetus and the demon seed refer to Yang Zixing and Xie Tian respectively. However, he now felt that the peerless demon in the blood pit in front of him was the true demon seed. Thinking of this, he prepared to destroy the blood pit. He definitely couldn't let it appear in the world, otherwise it would cause a great calamity. He sensed the situation around him and found that this place was incomparably hidden, as if it was completely isolated from the outside world. He also didn't sense a particularly strong aura. He steeled his heart and sneaked over, preparing to destroy the blood pit. At this moment, he already couldn't care too much about the Rose of Death. He would deal with it after destroying the blood pit and bringing her away. Seeing that he was approaching the blood pit, a voice rang out, "Intruder, kill." This voice was ethereal and incomparably hoarse. It was unknown where it came from. The Rose of Death and the other black-clothed people all released waves of demonic aura. They looked in the direction of Yang Wu and attacked Yang Wu. These people weren't weak, but they were nothing in front of Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't care about them at all and dodged their attacks. He held the black wok and injected immortal energy into it before angrily smashing it into the blood pit. "Destroy for me," Yang Wu roared. The black wok was a true divine weapon. After he injected his immortal chi, it could explode with an incomparably shocking power, especially when he used all his strength. Even a large area of land would be directly smashed by his walk. Yang Wu had become the #1 martial saint in the world. With a divine weapon, his battle prowess was comparable to that of an overlord. He indeed had the ability to do whatever he wanted in the transcendent world. He didn't believe that he couldn't do anything to this blood pit. However, just as the Black Walk was about to smash down, a powerful force suddenly swept up from the blood pit, forming a huge bloody palm that fiercely slammed onto the Black Walk. Bang! The Black Walk was directly sent flying by this bloody palm. Yang Wu was shaken by the recoil force and vomited blood as he was sent flying. He revealed a shocked expression. This is the power of the divine chain. A true God realm creature? Only a true God-level life form would be able to break through his attack so easily. However, he quickly confirmed that this shouldn't be a true God realm creature. It should be an expert that possessed the power of the divine chain. Having the divine chain was equivalent to having a trace of a true God's might. Yang Wu also had the divine chain, but he still didn't know how to use it. It was normal that he couldn't explode with the might of a true God. Perhaps after he broke through the Jade Moon realm, he could comprehend a thing or two. That bloody palm once again enveloped him. Yang Wu had no choice but to block the attack with the Black Walk. Without the Black Walk, he wouldn't be able to withstand the power of the other party's palm. Another palm fell, and Yang Wu was sent flying far away. What a powerful physique. Your blood energy can make me even more perfect. That ethereal voice sounded again. The bloody palm turned into a claw and grabbed at Yang Wu. For wings suddenly grew out of Yang Wu's back. He turned into a bolt of lightning and swept in the direction of the Rose of Death. However, this bloody claw was even faster. How could it let him touch the Rose of Death so easily? Transcendent World's will, help me, take her away. Helpless, Yang Wu could only summon the power of the Transcendent World's will. If even the power of the Transcendent World's will couldn't help him, then he would be in trouble. Fortunately, the Transcendent World's will did indeed have extraordinary power. It swept Yang Wu and the Rose of Death away on the spot. The creature in the blood pit was stunned for a moment and muttered, "One with heaven and earth, the chosen one." Chapter 1597. Yang Wu brought the Rose of Death out of the Death Mountain range and returned to the wilderness in the Yang clan's territory. The Rose of Death was shrouded in death energy. Her life force was getting weaker and weaker. Her originally beautiful appearance was now extremely old and damaged. Yang Wu's heart ached when he saw her like this. "Let me see what happened to you." Yang Wu murmured and absorbed all the death energy in her body. Others were afraid of death energy, but he could absorb it without any problems. The death energy disappeared from the Rose of Death's body, and she seemed to have regained a trace of clarity. Her eyes emitted a trace of confusion as she instinctively sent a palm strike towards Yang Wu. She wasn't strong, so how could she injure Yang Wu? Yang Wu gently knocked her out, and his soul entered her divine courtyard. He could immediately determine that she was being controlled by someone else. Her soul was wrapped in skeleton-like incantations, causing her soul to be unable to move. Her soul force was also being devoured. No wonder she was so abnormal. Before Yang Wu could eliminate these skeletons, they gathered into a demonic face and stared at Yang Wu. "You have guts. You dare to touch my puppet? I'll control you as well." This demonic face devoured Yang Wu. The soul force it carried was very powerful. Even ordinary saint souls wouldn't be able to resist it. Yang Wu threw a punch at the demonic face and shattered it. He continued to attack and destroyed the remaining soul force of the demonic face. He didn't pay attention to the origin of this demonic face and who did it. Everything would be clear once he woke up the Rose of Death. After the Rose of Death lost the control of someone else's incantations, she could regain her consciousness. Yang Wu wasn't in a hurry to wake her up. He took out a soul spring and fed it to her, allowing her soul to recover. He then fed her the holy spring to restore her life force. The Rose of Death was at the Star Rune realm and had a tenacious life force. After the soul, spring, and holy spring were used together, her life force began to recover. Half a day later, she gradually regained consciousness. When she saw Yang Wu, Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she said, It's you who saved me? Are you all right? Yang Wu replied softly. At this moment, his heart was incomparably complicated. He couldn't wait to return to the Death Mountain range and flatten the king of Hell's palace. Even though the Rose of Death had regained her vitality, she still looked very haggard. It was heartbreaking to look at her. The Rose of Death revealed a bitter expression and said, Look at me, okay? Why don't you just let me die? Can you tell me what happened? What's there to say? They wanted your life, but you didn't fall for it, so they took it out on me. Who are they? Don't ask. Even if you know, what good will it do you? They're too strong. Although you are very powerful, you are still far from them. Is that what you think? Then how did I save you? Yeah, how did you save me? After Yang Wu and the Rose of Death talked for a while, the Rose of Death became tired. He didn't have the nerve to ask any more questions and let her continue recovering. Unfortunately, the Rose of Death actually wanted to commit suicide. Fortunately, Yang Wu reacted quickly and stopped her in time. What are you doing? Yang Wu shouted. Let me die. I can't live. The Rose of Death revealed a look of despair. You're one of my people. Have you asked me if you want to die? Yang Wu retorted. When did I become one of your people? The Rose of Death asked, puzzled. Yang Wu replied. I went through untold hardships to save you from the Death Mountain range. Of course you're one of my people. You will be my slave for the rest of your life. The Rose of Death grabbed her hair and said, If you came earlier, I would have been willing to be your slave. Now that I am about to die, I can't help you with anything. Let me die. I don't want to be controlled by them anymore. Who said you would be controlled by them? I have already erased the talisman in your divine court. I have also expelled the death aura from your body. Do you still feel uncomfortable? I'm old. I don't deserve you. The Rose of Death cried bitterly. Once when they were in the mortal world, there was also a story between them. She had already developed a trace of inexplicable feelings for him. However, after she comprehended the Tao of Death, she returned to the transcendent world and broke off this relationship. There was a huge gap between the transcendent world and the mortal world. She didn't think that she could be together with Yang Wu. Moreover, she was only a death warrior nurtured by the king of Hell's palace. Now, Yang Wu risked his life to save her. She was incomparably moved and wanted to be his slave. However, she didn't want Yang Wu to see her old and ugly face all day long. She despised herself very much. So it's about this matter. I thought you were seeking death for them. Yang Wu laughed. Leave. I don't want to see you again. She saw him laughing heartlessly and felt like her heart was being cut by a knife. Don't forget that I am a divine alchemist. It shouldn't be too difficult to refine a divine pill for you to regain your youth. Yang Wu said again. This time, the Rose of Death's gaze was filled with anticipation. If she could recover her appearance, she naturally didn't want to die. Just like this, the Rose of Death was pacified by Yang Wu. She didn't want to die for the time being. After she adjusted her state of mind, she told them about the situation in the king of Hell's palace. Unfortunately, after she was controlled, some of the memories in her soul were erased. She couldn't remember everything and couldn't speak clearly. She only knew that the powerful creatures in the king of Hell's palace's death domain would be killed and thrown into the depths of the Death Mountain range. That was the forbidden area of the king of Hell's palace. No one could easily enter. She was only sent there after she was controlled. The king of Hell's palace was very ambitious. They wanted to kill all the powerful creatures in the various domains and throw their corpses into the Death Mountain range. They wanted to replenish the death energy there or nurture a special powerful life form. Yang Wu pieced this information together and thought about the situation in the blood pit. He suspected that the blood pit was definitely a demon seed that the king of Hell's palace deliberately nurtured. Once the demon seed was born, this world would be plunged into misery and suffering. This matter is too big. It seems that I need to go to the divination pavilion. After Yang Wu thought of this, he brought the Rose of Death directly to the divination pavilion. The divination pavilion was the #1 pavilion in the world. It wasn't a place where anyone could come and go as they pleased. Moreover, they had set up a powerful divine formation that completely isolated the divination pavilion. Even a god-level creature would die if they tried to force their way in. Yang Wu was the chosen one. If he wanted to find the divination master, no divine formation would be able to stop him. The #1 pavilion in the world. In fact, other than the building being a bit more outstanding, everything else was just like a commoner's residence. There was no difference. When Yang Wu appeared here, he attracted the attention of the people here. The people here had always been paying attention to the matters of the world. They couldn't be more familiar with Yang Wu's appearance. After seeing Yang Wu, they didn't panic. Instead, they slightly bowed to Yang Wu and quietly left. Yang Wu sighed in his heart, worthy of being a member of the divination pavilion. Even if the sky collapses, they won't panic. A Taoist riding a flying pig appeared and shouted, "Little Wu, you're finally here." Yang Wu didn't need to look to know who it was. It was the divination master's junior brother, Taoist Zhu. People outside said that Taoist Zhu wasn't very talented, but in Yang Wu's eyes, Taoist Zhu's abilities were no less than the divination master's. He had been traveling with Taoist Zhu for 10 years, but Taoist Zhu's performance had not been too shocking. However, after thinking back, he realized that Taoist Zhu had already made arrangements for many things, which had affected him greatly. This was also one of the reasons why he had requested the Spirit of the Realm Core to increase the level of the transcendental world and increase the resources of the transcendental world when he had become the first sage. "Old pig, did you know I was coming?" Yang Wu had been with Taoist Zhu for 10 years, so he spoke very casually. "I knew. Of course I knew. The purple air comes from the east. There must be an important guest. Other than you, who else can come to the divination pavilion?" Taoist Zhu stroked his horsetail whisk. "Okay, stop joking around. Is the divination master here? I have something to discuss with you," Yang Wu said seriously. "Why are you in such a hurry? Something big must have happened. Let's go to the divination pavilion. He's always there." Taoist Zhu pointed at a pavilion on the peak of a mountain. So, the group went to the first under heaven pavilion. Yang Wu landed on the top of the mountain and just happened to see a flat land below. The field of vision was incomparably wide, and there was a feeling of standing at the top of the world, overlooking the common people of the world. This feeling was truly wonderful. The god diviner was sitting cross-legged on a rock. When he saw Yang Wu, he stood up and cupped his hands in greeting. "Greetings, heaven's chosen one." Yang Wu bowed back and said, "You're too kind, Master Divination Master." Not only was the divine mathematician's seniority high, but he was also many times stronger than him. Yang Wu didn't dare to be careless. "You've been recognized by the will of the transcendental realm. You can be considered half a god in the transcendental realm. Everyone in the world has to bow to you when they see you. Even I am no exception," the divination master said honestly. "So what? I'm just a junior. How can I let an elder bow to me?" Yang Wu didn't care. He then said, "I'm here today to discuss something important with you. I've discovered the secret of Yama's palace." Yang Wu told the divination master and Taoist Zhu everything he saw in Yama's palace and what the Rose of Death said. After the divination master and Taoist Zhu heard this, their faces became serious. Then they began to perform divination. Not long after, they looked in the direction of the mountain of death. Their faces became more and more gloomy. The divine fetus, the demon seed, and the grim reaper. After the transcendental realm leveled up, it will usher in a great catastrophe. No solution